Are we ready, Ms. Mara? Okay, great. Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday, October 21st, special City Council meeting. Roll call, please, Ms. Mara. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem here. Councilmember
Here?
Councilmember Wood.
Here.
Mayor
Here.
Councilmember
Here.
Thank you. And would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Thank you.
Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I have an approval of the agenda, please?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second. Any objections?
Abstain.
Yeah? How are you? Any objections? Great. Okay, we'll move forward. And then I will ask now for public comments, of which I have a couple. Mr. Steve Quillisi, Nick Ojai, and Eric Ryder, please. Thank you. Not all at once.
Thank you, Mayor and
Thank you.
Council and staff. I come not as your city clerk tonight, but as the commander of the Veterans of Foreign Wars post. And I wanted to say a big thank you to the mayor and to the city manager, who both took turns in the dunk tank at Ojai Day. That was cold duty. And I especially want to thank Bridget, who gave the best impression I have ever seen of a carnival barker, dragging people in to support the VFW and dunk the mayor, dunk the city manager,
Yep.
and there were long lines for both.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was kind of you. Nick Ojai, please, Eric Ryder, and then Brian Akins.
Well, thank you for all your work.
Hello.
And I have just a word or two to say about community and the wonder of this place. And I would like to make just a word about what community means to me. And it is having people's faces and people that I know to say hello to when I'm going down the sidewalk. And it's people who I've never seen here before coming down the sidewalk. I've had the joy of helping people find their way to the museum. I say, well, it looks like a church, but it's actually the museum. And that's wonderful to give people a feeling that we are a community. And I'll have a statement to make at a later time, and one of the issues related to enjoying having people work in Ojai who live in Ojai. And also an idea about the movement of people through this valley. I'm sure you've all noticed the last few days have just been, it's like this evening coming into Ojai. The hills, everything is so crystal clear. It's like somebody, some great power way beyond us is sort of blown all the bad stuff away. And so it's just it's an appreciation for your work, each of you, and an appreciation for the sense of community. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. It's very nice. Eric Ryder, please, and then Brian Akins. Hello.
In an ideal world, the city manager for a small, isolated community would be an adaptable and innovative generalist with a deep-seated commitment to the community's well-being. This person would serve as a resourceful and empathetic leader, capable of balancing modern best practices with the unique needs of a small town life. They would be a strategic planner in order to best enact the intentions of the city council members who are elected by the community to pursue and realize. Moving beyond day-to-day issues to create a long-term vision that identifies areas for modest, sustainable growth, leverages financial opportunities, and strengthens the local economy while respecting the community's character. The manager must be an empathetic listener with a strong ethical core to genuinely consider residents' feelings, especially when navigating difficult social and political dynamics. Finally, they must be a resilient steward, humble enough to admit when they don't have all the answers, transparent with their decisions, and publicly accountable when mistakes are made. They would foster civic engagement, inspire volunteerism, and be the calm professional prepared to handle crises in a small, isolated environment. Despite the stated goals of job creation by Mayor Andy Gilman during his campaign, the current city manager, Ben Harvey, appears to be actively working against the community's best interest. He seems to be working in earnest to not hire employees from Ojai's community, instead employing the least cost-effective solution for trolley drivers, with contracts that generally cost twice as much as hiring locally. This disregard for local hiring is a missed opportunity to save money and keep resources within Ojai's local community economy. In the end, all logical evidence continues to point to a determined effort by the city manager to end Ojai's trolley service. Compounding all this, Mr. Harvey has given himself a raise while simultaneously eliminating his own responsibilities. These actions suggest two possibilities. Either Mr. Harvey is not capable enough to manage the city's business, or he simply wants less to do that might conflict with personal activities, such as defending himself from lawsuits and playing golf at the exclusive Ojai Valley Inn, rather than our own beautiful public Soul Park golf course. Leaving one simple question: why are you even in public service, Mr. Harvey?
Thank you. Brian Aikens, please.
Hello, Council. I am here in conjunction with Chair Gina McCatton, Vice Chair Loran Sims, Commissioners Craig Walker, Rick Bisaccia, Laurel Moore, and myself. We just had two fabulous events, and so we wanted to take this opportunity to thank the council and the many people that were supporting us, both through the process in getting us there and also even those that were able to attend. So Friday night was the unveiling for the State Historic District plaque that's there right in front of where Village Pharmacy was. It was beautiful. It is beautiful. I was talking to Lucas, and he confirmed with me that, yes, it is really heavy. So kudos to Public Works. So we're grateful to those that were able to be there, Councilwoman Mang, Councilwoman Rule, and Mayor Gilman, and others. That went beautifully. The next thing is, and if you haven't seen the plaque, set aside some time, because we try to put a little bit of history along with the beauty. So a lot of good history in there, thanks to a write-up that was prepared by Commissioner Craig Walker. The other item, of course, was Ojai Day. I'd like to tell you how Ojai Day went, but I never made it across the bike trail all day long. We were packed at the jail. I closed the jail, I think, at 20 to 6. My wife kept giving me these pills so my legs didn't cramp all night long. But it was a wonderful event. I'd like to thank all of those that attended. I'd like to thank Christy and Bridget for their support. It's just wonderful when the community comes out and, you know, people who make it all the way down to the jail and enjoy it, and we're there by referral. We love that. We had lots of families. I got to slam several young kids. I was telling people the thing I love the most is when they now know what the slammer means.
Yeah. Right.
So I told them that I love it when, you know, this group of girls or even group of boys comes in and they're always like, no, you go in the cell. No, you go in the cell. And then they leave, and then they come back with their own new group. And not only do they tease them about you go in the cell, they give the whole tour, and I just sit there and enjoy it. I also want to thank Richard Sennett, who stayed for several hours and was giving lots of information. And one other person I just want to mention I see that our chief of police isn't here. I was going to caution him that he looked way too happy when he had my arms behind my back.
I saw the picture.
Yes,
Yeah.
it looks way too real. So thank you to that. And thank you to all.
Thank you
Just
so much.
a quick, I just wanted to say, Brian, thank you and the HPC. The jail is one of the highlights. There were kids heading in there. They were like skipping to go to jail. And they were totally excited. It was really wonderful, and its placement got them in the middle of Libby Park. It was truly, really, really wonderful to see. So thank you so very much.
Yes, thank you very much. I did get a report that the longest line for the dunk tank, I'll see that some of these days, was for the city manager, Harvey. So I don't know if that was true or not, but they did say it went quite a ways down the street. So thank you all.
Thank you. Ojai Day was amazing. Great feedback all day long. Okay, Ms. Mara, is there anybody online wanting to come in?
No one's online.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to the consent calendar.
Mr. Mayor, just real
Oh,
quick,
please,
just for the record,
go.
I haven't played golf in Ojai or anywhere in over 10 years, just
Oh.
so everyone knows. I don't play golf.
Okay,
Thank you.
noted. Does anybody want to pull anything from the consent calendar? I know all I want to do is thank Mr. Steve Mason for repeated volunteering, but anybody want to pull anything else?
I have a couple questions on the budget and
Okay.
also
Great, so we'll pull number one.
I have
So-
questions on 1 and 2.
Okay, well, let's just talk about both then.
And we'll ask Ms. Cervantes to join us for the
Thank you.
warrant register thing. Thank you.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay, and I will start by saying that usually, Norma, every week you're so good with sending these because I usually have a lot of questions, and this week I didn't have the time to send my weekly email. So I'm just going to address it here, and if you need more time, I don't have an issue with meeting with you down the road.
Thanks.
I just had a couple questions. Let's see. With the city management advisors, the finance director recruitment, I know that you've hired new people, and I just want some clarification because we've spent a lot of money for the firm to look for people that you said we had 61 applicants. So I'm just curious, out of those 61 applicants, how many were truly qualified? And were the people that you chose from Agora, did they go through the same mix as the 61 people that applied through the agency?
So multi-part question here. I don't have at my fingertips the list of those who applied who met the minimum qualifications. That we were, if you looked at the recruitment brochure, we were looking at a minimum number of years of local government experience and increasingly advanced roles. I can certainly get that to you. For the finance director, because that was what the recruitment was for, the candidate we ultimately ended up hiring was initially interested and contacted for the recruitment. She accepted another job elsewhere. And at the end of the recruitment, when we did not find a fit, that's when we collectively decided to reach out to her to see if maybe she would still be interested. And that's when we were able to bring her on board.
Okay, so I would be interested in this, and I don't know if anybody else, but just the 61 candidates to spend, so much money. So did they advertise it incorrectly, that there were that
No.
many people that weren't qualified? Or I'd just
No.
like to see what the issue.
So the issue is
Why?
finance in general, and since I've been involved in HR and local government since the early '90s, finance and community development are historically the hardest departments to recruit for. If you have young children who are considering fields, I would strongly encourage them to go in either area. There just are not a lot of folks in those tracks, and that's just historically been the way that it's always been. I remember having difficulty hiring a finance director back in '92. All the way through my career, it's always been that way. And if you ask any of the big recruiting firms, this is always the challenge. They really spend a lot of time and effort. They have databases. They make contacts. They search, but ultimately it's all about fit. And so even though we had a number of folks that we brought through the interview process, the panel, the recruiter and myself just didn't feel that there was anybody that came through that was really going to meet our needs. So I would say, yes, it's a lot of money, but ultimately we did end up getting a good candidate, and you will meet her next week.
Okay.
Is the question to basically look at the service to decide in the future maybe we don't use the service since we didn't use it? I see the question.
And
Yeah,
to
sure.
spend that much money if we had all these applicants that
Understood.
weren't qualified. It's,
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I have, let me see here, the Clean Harbors Environmental Service.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, $14,035. It says for lithium battery removal and OTT tent decontamination. I was wondering what the breakup is, because with OTT tent decontamination, there's also another fee that we've been using. So for the month of October for decontamination, we're looking, if we add the two totals, $21,850 is a big chunk.
Yeah, a big chunk of that did go. We had a lithium battery that caught fire, and that was a very expensive endeavor to safely remove that and dispose of that. As you likely know, not a lot of firms are willing to do that, including our own fire department, for understandable reasons. But on top of that, we have done a major cleanup effort at OTT, and we've actually had a couple folks we had to ask to leave, and that is costly in cleaning up and cleaning out. And so I can give you a breakdown. I don't have it at my fingertips. But
That's
we
what,
can
yeah,
certainly
I was just
do
curious with
that.
the one, because if it's gonna be that pricey, it seems like the other one, it averages about,
Like 7.
Yeah, $7,000 a month.
expensive.
So I didn't know out of the 14, I just like split it in half, and we're still looking at, quite a bit of money, 14,000.
We have. I can just tell you, as far as sorry to step on you. As far as the battery goes, we have tightened up what we allow as far as batteries are concerned, not only in OTT but also for the disposal here at City Hall, because we're in an Oak Woodland and we don't want any episodes like that again.
Okay, perfect. And then this is just me. It's been on the last few months, and it just caught my eye again. For Help of Ojai, $4,500 for an ADA program. And when I looked on their website, they say they don't have an ADA, so I'm wondering if maybe this is like transportation.
Yes, exactly
Is
right.
that what it
So,
is?
so the
Okay.
city, right? We pay them a stipend for that. It's the van that you see driving around
Okay.
town that provides
That's
that
what I
paratransit access.
Okay, perfect. I'm sorry, you guys.
No, that's okay.
Take your time. Take your
Yeah.
time.
And then once again, with finance, with the MV Chang, that runs about $10,000 a month, what it's been going. And I know that Norma's addressed this a few times, that we're like borrowing people. And for the
Not
amount
for
of,
long. That's the other exciting thing. We really feel that we're close to bringing on a full-time accountant, and so I hope to have some exciting news in that area very soon.
because going back to this, what my concern is, like, yes, I know that we've needed help and all that stuff. So I don't know how many people are in the finance department, and if we're bringing 2 to 3 in a month from this company, there's a lot of, like, for instance, the last meeting with the budget for security for tent down, and that document, as we all know, was a mess, and it wasn't presented at the last meeting. And it just seems to me like we're spending all of this money on finance to get a lot of paperwork, a lot of information that's kind of shoddy, in my opinion.
Okay, well, we are going to give you a report on all the progress we've made. I think that's coming in November or December. We've got what we refer to as the Eid Bailey list, which is on the website, that a third party came in and told us all the things we need to fix, and we're about 90% complete. So we are making some major strides, including being very close to launching the accounts payable module in our enterprise software system. So appreciate your patience and the council's patience as we get there. I think once we have our new director, our new accounting manager, not to discredit anything, all the great work that Norma has done, of course, but and an accountant on board will really be up and running. But it is a process, and when things need to be fixed in the way that they did in that department, it just takes a long time.
Okay, those
No,
are my
thank you. I
questions.
appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Appreciate
Sure.
it.
Any other questions about number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I already saw this warrant, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so I noticed that on page 8, Myers Nave, a professional corporation who is the special counsel for mediation, has Brown Act there, and it's mediation, not a Brown Act, and I think we've made that correction before. Just as an official document, that isn't what it's for.
We can make that correction, thank you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I will note that cha-ching.
Okay. So we can have a vote on number 1, and then we'll go on to number 2, unless number 2 is fast or simple. Did you have a question about number 2?
Yeah, I just think
Okay.
it's great, the recommendations and everything. This person, done a great job. I was just curious as if it was out there for anybody else, if they were interested, instead of just choosing this person, reinstating again. That's my only question.
So I could just jump in
Please.
on that. We did not fly this position simply because this individual expressed an interest in continuing to serve, and the agency said he's really a very valued member of their board, and so we, in that instance, wanted to allow them the opportunity should the council decide. However, if you don't want to reappoint, we can certainly post and go out for other applications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, am I hearing you say you would like to
Well,
open
I
that?
was thinking this, to be fair.
Uh-huh.
I'm sure there's people, you know what I mean? And if nobody else applies, then obviously, or there could be, like with anything, there could be other people that apply, and it comes back to this person being the right one for the task. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever everybody else, that's just how I feel about it.
Understood. Any thoughts? I've never heard anybody else express any interest in this position personally, but that doesn't mean there isn't, I suppose.
I don't think there's any harm in having a short period of opening up applications,
Sure.
see who applies. The criteria does say a preference for somebody who lives within the city limits. Mr. Mason doesn't. So I would be interested to see if someone was as, likely to do as good a job as him, but was actually a city resident. But I wouldn't keep since his term is ending, I wouldn't, have an overly long application period, but we could certainly do a notice. And my other comment is, Mr. Mason or whoever is our representative on that area housing authority should come in and give a report every once in a while, because I don't think we've heard from him or what that,
Not in the last year, for sure.
and I think it goes back much further than that. Might be 3 years. So we should know what is happening with that board, and what our representative is advancing. So if there aren't any other comments, I'd propose that we open up applications for 30 days for that position, and do maybe 2 notifications in the newspaper in the meantime.
Happily. Does anybody, that sound good?
Yep.
It looks like it's quite a ask. It's driving to Newberry Park at 3 p.m. of the 4th Wednesday. That's quite a task.
Could we
Yes.
clarify for Miss Mara who the second was?
I'll second.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thanks for that. Well, we need. I was actually going to propose that. That sounds good. We didn't actually move number 1 yet, so maybe we want to have 2 separate motions just for clarity. Let's do number 1.
I was confused on that. Okay.
Now, let's start with number 1. So I move to accept consent item number 1.
Second.
Great. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstentions? Okay.
Abstain.
And then, so now we're on to number 2. And Mr. Whitman, do you want to say it one more time?
Open up the application, provide public notice on 2 separate occasions, have an open period for applications for 30 days, and then bring it back to us for for an appointment depending on who applies, if anyone.
So actually, if there's multiple, it looks like we'll have to go through the council vetting. Am I seeing that correctly?
I would think so.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
what,
follow our, so the motion should read that we follow our process if we have applicants.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we
That's it.
bring back the
That sounds right.
reappointment of Mr. Mason.
Okay, I'll second.
Can I ask, what is our process?
It would-
Because we
Mm.
don't have, I mean, we're not appointing to a commission.
But in council's discretion, you could choose to do the nominating committee. It would have to be the mayor and a rotating council member because you don't have a chair in this instance.
Look, under the discussion, it says each participating jurisdiction appoints 2 commissioners to the Board of Commissioners, each serving a 4-year term. That doesn't mean jurisdictions in our city, correct? That would be in the larger organization, right? So,
That's correct.
No, my question
Yeah.
has to do with, we have a process for nominating members to commissions that actually have multiple members.
Right.
So we have rotating council members where it makes sense.
Understood.
Here, it does not make sense because unless you're just going to pick somebody out of a hat, or, in other words, I'm asking for clarification on what the process would actually be, because there is no rotating, there is no commission. We're not going to have another commissioner for 4 years, so we're not going to have a rotating council member.
Well, it would be in your discretion to set a process. If you wanted to set a process similar to the one that you have for your commissions, you could do that. You just don't have a chair. So it would default to a consensus between the mayor and a rotating council member to make a recommendation to the council that's ratified by the council.
So there's something similar. If we were to move on item number 4, we have a similar situation, right? We don't have an existing chair, so we would have to figure that out.
Correct. And
Yeah.
I believe there's a process recommended in that staff report which mirrors that. It
Yep.
continues without the chair because there is none.
Yes.
But you're understanding the distinction here is
I
that
do understand
Okay.
in council's discretion, you can set the process. So if you're unhappy with that process for this commissioner, you can propose a different one for your colleague.
And so I have a proposal for now, though, which is let's see what happens. And if we only have Mr. Mason, then no problem. And if we have multiple, then we'll figure it out.
Well, this is a process that will come up again. I just don't know how you have rotating council members when you not actually, that model was developed for a particular, to approach a particular model, not this kind of. So I'm just saying, yes, we're going to have to come up with something, if not for this particular example, others that do come up. It's, that idea of a rotating council member is going to have to be dealt with, I think. Like,
So I think that
you know,
what I would recommend then, survive this process so that we don't have a gap in service for this commission. And then we can come back with a concept review to propose for alternative commissions or bodies that are outside of the city council's purview, but necessary for the city to participate. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head how many that we have where residents need to participate, but we could definitely create some kind of a process, adopt either an ordinance or put that in your council handbook or the commission's handbook. There's plenty of places. So
Thank
it
you.
sounds like a further discussion at a later date would be needed for this.
I appreciate that.
okay.
So we had a motion from Mr. Whitman. I will second. Any more discussion? Okay.
Can you
yeah.
repeat the motion, please?
Yeah.
To bring it back, or to notice it for 30 days and in the Ojai Valley News, and then follow our process if there is no applicant.
Actually, I think, Ms. Mara, what I heard, just going to slightly modify that. 30-day window for new applicants, public notice on 2 separate occasions,
Oh.
bring back for appointment.
Okay.
That I like that because it keeps the appointment process unstated. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Ms. Mara, do you want to call it?
Councilmember Whitman,
Yes?
Councilmember Rule,
No.
Mayor Gilman,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang,
Yes.
Councilmember Ming.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, so we're through the consent on to the discussion items, and we have the city council goals. Mr.
Yes,
Harvey.
Mayor, and give us
Yep.
a moment.
Sure.
Ms. Mara is going to help me, and thank you for doing that, Ms. Mara, by bringing up the spreadsheet so that we can get to goals number 8 and 9. I'm just going to fumble through there with the hard copy, so give me a moment as well.
Can I say a couple things while we're doing that?
You bet.
Just to my colleagues. So remember that we have gone through most of the items, and we have created a hierarchy of the tactics that we think are the most important. And the staff has come and they've quantified those things, and that's in our document for today. So the thought is we have 8 and 9 still to do that for. So we can look at the tactics of 8 and 9, and let's see how long that takes. And if we have more time or more appetite, we can go back to some of the quantified items, maybe starting at number 1, if you all agree to that.
Yeah, and I have a alternative proposal, which is that we, potentially get the city manager to devise a form for us to go through the ones where we've already kind of set out what our top priorities and comment, because I know that there's some where the goal language may have drifted a little bit. And so as opposed to spending a whole bunch of,
Are you saying for 8 and 9 or going back?
if and when we go back,
I see. Okay.
my suggestion is our first roll through is just to have each of us submit in writing if we have any comments or concerns about what's in the goals, or what are our priority topics.
And I think if I could, Councilmember Whitman, I think if I understand correctly, I just want to clarify, you're speaking to the actual language of a tactic, I believe.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
a tactic.
And I would tell the council, if there is any deviation from what was originally proposed to what you see in the spreadsheet, there is nothing malicious on my part intended. I think I was just trying to make sure I understood things, but if I did not understand something correctly and I materially changed a tactic, please, that would be welcome. But just know that there was no agenda on my part.
Nope, that sounds reasonable. And then, Ms. Anderson, I just want to ask, so should we jump into 8 and 9 and then take public comments on the item, or do that first? What's your suggestion?
I would take public comments on the item as a whole. So
Okay.
that you're not, because then you're putting yourself in a situation.
I'm saying in time, like now.
Yeah, I would do it.
Okay, fine with me. Okay, let me start with Larry Steingold, please, and then Bill Miley, and then we'll jump into it. Hello.
City council goal. I think it's wonderful that everybody's organized and we're trying to get tactics and strategy. Little things like fire, right? I've been here 8 years. Everybody talks about fire. They've been talking about it forever here. And the city's finally put up $1 million. We've signed a contract. We've done this. The state's doing this after 3 years with the fire, Cal Fire. But I believe it's incumbent upon the city to inform buyers and tenants that their homes and apartments are either fire hardened or they're not. So I think if a house goes under sales agreement, that should automatically go to the fire council. They can do an inspection and tell the buyer that the house he's going to be looking at is not fire hardened. Then he can either renegotiate the deal or do something. Because otherwise, we're creating a problem that the homes are not getting fire hardened because nobody's doing it, unless you have to. Right? Traffic. Since I've been here, traffic is a big deal. What are we going to do tomorrow, next week, next year? Not in 2027 and not in 2023. They're building 15,000 homes in Santa Clarita, 22,000, 1,500 in Santa Paula. And when the 123, or I think it's the 123, is backed up and they want to go to the beach, they're all going to be coming this way. And those are just the commuters. Those aren't the people working here. Those aren't the people coming in to live on either side of the valley. The franchise agreement. That's great. As the franchisor, what do we get? Also, what happens if the company that's putting in the fiber goes belly up? Do we acquire the wire? What's the deal? What is the cost to hook up to the home? What is the average cost? Because once they're in, they're never going away, so you might as well just give them a monopoly, all right, and just get transferred, because once people sign up, they're not going anywhere. If it works, who cares, right? Paving. Paving should not be slurry. It should be asphalt, all right? Because southern, if you haven't walked on South Drown, you should, and do it on a hot day. Your feet will stick to the slurry. Or there's marks everywhere. Just, it's not asphalt. So I just think that you've got things going on. Let's just get things done. The fire thing is a big deal. In fact, if you tell the brokers that it's required, it'll make it less issues for them, because if a buyer finds out it's not fire hardened, he's going to want to renegotiate the deal. So if you take it off their hands, everybody knows. That way you're not forcing a sale upon sale, but you are informing them in your disclosure, which now puts it back on the broker to disclose, or the owner, or the landlord. Because why should it be any different for them?
Thank you, Mr. Stengel. Bill Miley, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Number 9, communication and relationship. I would again like to suggest the council consider authorizing the creation of an annual report to the public on the status of the city of Ojai government and how it serves our residents, 7,500, and folks beyond in the valley. But specifically on item 9I, quote, improve transparency, including closed session minutes. What I think is missing is considering audio recording, which has been widely discussed in the past, and minutes won't do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miley. Ms. Mara, anything online?
No, Mayor, there are no raised hands online.
Thank you. Okay. Let's get to it.
Okay, so I'm not going to give you all, unless you would really like to hear it for the 8th time, the speech on why we do these and their significance. I think we've gone through that a few times.
Yeah.
But what we'd like to do is the same approach as we have done previously, which is allowing each member to please select their top 3 tactics. And we are looking to see where we have the concentric circles. And after the so-called voting, then we arrive at what our priorities are that we are going to be working on first within this goal area. So I'm not going to put anybody on the spot. I know it's difficult to go first, but do I have a volunteer from you all, Mayor?
Can we, no, I think we need our 5 minutes to go over
I'm
that
sorry.
first. There you go.
Sorry. Okay. You haven't memorized these?
I do have a copy in my thing.
Okay.
Here. Okay.
And of course, we can answer questions if anything's not clear or if we've modified something so you don't recognize it.
Sorry, and one more step. Any freebies that we can remove?
Yeah, for sure.
There you
That's
go.
right, the freebies.
See?
Well,
Yeah.
yes. So you do see that 8B and 8F are completed. And I will add also, I saw another one in here. Oh, 8.
So all the ones that say completed, we can remove from our choices.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, you may.
Yep.
8D, I would say that's close. We are very close to finishing that as well.
Cool.
Thanks to Public Works on that. So there you go, Mayor.
Now, when I see 8F, the city's first financial annual comprehensive report, Mr. Miley has brought that up before, and I think we are already having some conversations around something, not just there's a state of the city report, but
this is totally different. What Mr.
Yeah,
Miley is
yeah.
looking for, I've seen happen in other cities, which is it's an annual financial newsletter, if you will, to the community. And if the council wants us to do that, we certainly could do that. We have. This is an industry recognition and certification.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do have a question. So for my suggestion or recommendation from May 13th, should we consider that HIJK, or should we just say, or should we consider that at all? What is?
Okay.
Do you see what? Do you see the what I'm talking about. It's under
Mhm.
notes down
I
at the
do.
bottom.
I might suggest that that's on the table for a vote. How about that?
Yeah.
Is that reasonable?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just was, should it be 8K?
Oh, I see. Yes, let's make
Okay.
that, thank you. Good
Mhm.
suggestion. Let's make that 8K, sorry.
Thank
Was not
you.
understanding that. Is that clear, Ms. Mara? You see on the bottom in the cell, councilmember rule, you see?
Additions?
Yeah, over to
Yeah,
the
You
right.
could just copy and paste what you see in the cell to your right.
Yep. Does that make sense?
There you go.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you for doing that.
And what's the specific topic that's being added?
Well, it's, go ahead.
This is, there is software that breaks up your financial reports and allows you to zoom in and look at all budget items without having to look at 195 pages and try to cross-reference. So it's a way of modernizing and making it much easier to understand a budget for both the council and for the public.
Yeah.
Some famous names that might be known to you in the
Mhm.
public are OpenGov or
Mhm.
ClearGov,
Mhm.
but there are multiple providers out there for that.
It completely exists.
Yes.
Okay.
It's on the bottom of number 8, but it's in a different column. It was no.
No,
For-
I was looking for
Yeah,
it.
for
Oh,
Councilmember Whitman. So it's on the list, but it hadn't been assigned a number and a letter. Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to describe it.
Yeah.
It's in a
Got it.
funky little spot. So we're
Okay.
just moving it over.
Good now?
Yeah, I've got an add-on proposal, and then I'll give my top two, including that. And we use this term delta frequently, and I don't think it's really been explained and or assessed,
Mm-hmm.
and what the delta is and what we would do with it if we know it exists. It's kind of something we've been talking about in theory. Maybe some people view it more, but since it hasn't been defined, I think it needs to be defined and assessed as to the purpose of that money that's been identified as potentially in excess of what we've budgeted for. We need a policy for what we're doing with that.
So maybe I could just jump in a little bit. I think I understand what you're saying, but please, and Ms. Mara, are you going to put that back up?
Sorry.
Sorry, thank you. I believe that the council member is speaking to that amount of money that exists over the city's established reserve
Mhm.
policy
Mm-hmm.
for general fund expenditures. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so what you're looking for is I somewhat regret referring to this amount of money as the delta because that's kind of a term that keeps coming back at us, but it's an amount of unprogrammed general fund monies that may be considered by the council. Essentially, they're very discretionary in the sense that you've already met your policy. So what type of strategic use do you want to do with these monies?
I understand what you're saying, and I think we should have a discussion item
Okay.
in terms of
Mm-hmm.
what is that amount,
Mhm.
and what are potential liabilities that would blow that amount out of the water. How
Mhm.
likely are those to happen? I'm personally very concerned about if the federal government continues to pull back money, how that's going to impact what we think seems to be kind of a stable, financial environment for us right now, but all of that could change. So
Sure.
So tell me if
I'd
I'm wrong.
like.
Yeah, Ms. Billings suggested, I thought, was in December we would know what that number would be, so the dollar amount would be clearer. And I think I do. Tell me if I'm getting you right. I do. If we could know what that dollar amount was, it would help with this goal setting a lot. Because then we would decide, we don't want to overspend, or we want to be very prudent. We all want to be prudent, of course.
Yeah,
but
and
that makes perfect sense.
Right.
Mhm.
And to what degree should we be, conservative or aggressive
Mhm.
with that amount of money
For sure.
as a policy decision for the city council to make?
Agreed.
So, and I also agree. I'm wondering how we would come up with, is there a way to get a forecast of some sort as to where the federal government is going, or get some sort of.
We have had tourism.
I
Well,
thought I knew
mean,
where you're
we
going with
can-
that, but
we
no.
can,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, if we don't get any kind of sense, then it's hard to decide whether or not we should be aggressive or we should be conservative, unless we just make it up in our, we decide that, from what we're hearing, we think this, which is perfectly fine, but none of us are economists by nature. So, I mean, I'm perfectly happy to go that route. I would also be perfectly happy to get some sort of expert idea on, the trajectory. Is money being pulled back? Has it started being pulled back? I mean, we know what's happening at the Fed level, but we don't get that much money from the Feds. So we get money from the state.
That's
the
what I
state
mean.
gets money
I'm
from the
not sure we're
Feds.
going to get the answers you're
Yeah.
looking for, but Ms.
Okay, then we
Billings,
can just say,
So,
we'll
yeah,
No, I
decide,
think if I
you
could just
know?
jump in, this is probably something that we can address with our new finance director once she is on board, once she has her sea legs, and once we have our year-end audit results. But it's not something we're going to know anytime. Like, this is probably 2 or 3 months away before we have an idea on this
Right.
one.
I just would offer what Ms. Billings said last time was that we can do tourism forecasts just by looking at behavior, right? I'm not saying the far future, but just say, how are the receipts coming in? And I know that we have some lagging indicators, but if I heard her correctly, she said things seem to be on track that way. So obviously we would be cautious, but that would be the indicator I would be wanting to pay attention to, I guess, since that's a large chunk. But
Also, I'll just add that,
Yeah.
so that in our EDC Economic Development Collaborative meetings, we talk about some of these things, and so I'll start bringing reports in, because we do real estate, we talk about real estate, we talk about,
Great.
a lot of the economic impacts of this administration. So I'll start
That
bringing
would be
some of
great.
those in in my reports.
thank you.
That would be great. And also, I know that the executive director lives in Ojai, and he's fabulously able to speak to this issue.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he would be happy to, if we get down to communication, perhaps host a forum of some sort. And, anyway, we do have the leading expert as an
Yeah.
Ojai resident, which is really great. And he's very concerned about this. And I think together you two could really give us some insights.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
And also, I have attended several meetings about this through the California League of Cities, webinars, and even at the most recent conference, heard panel discussions. And one of the things that is a consistent talking point is that things are uncertain right now. So even the experts in all of this are still talking about some uncertainty. And I think that the real impacts are going to be felt in our transportation, in a lot of the agencies that support the community. Gold Coast, we're looking at that with our hydrogen fuel buses. So, but yes, I'll get in touch with Bruce and see if we can bring him in.
That really argues for our great position, which is a 100% reserve besides any excess of that, and also no debt to speak of.
So I'm going to take a stab at rephrasing this.
So you're
Tactic
proposing a
that I'm-
tactic. Am I seeing?
I'm a tactic,
Okay.
which is to assess potential surplus from reserve policy and develop a policy concerning how we treat that.
So Ms. Amara, do you want to take a stab at entering that as a L? And we'll certainly help you. Maybe you could just take some dictation if you don't mind from the council member. Do you want to try that again?
Yeah.
Please.
Assess potential surplus from our reserve policy. And develop policy concerning how to utilize that surplus.
Got it. Great.
And we'll clean up this spreadsheet, of course,
No,
but
that's good.
you can see the items, I think, so you can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be able to vote.
so my votes are,
Oh, jumping in, okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
number one, conduct the existing, the 6A, or excuse me, 8A,
Mm-hmm.
8I, and whatever I just said, whatever that would be in the alphabet.
8L. Thank you.
Okay,
let's
so
let-
that
let's
one, the
let Ms.
one
Mara
last is
catch up on
8L.
that really
Okay,
quick.
gotcha.
So first things first, let her first,
Yep.
if you don't mind, capture this tactic, and then we can
Mhm.
go back and get the voting in.
Thanks.
Oh, so you're using W, okay. Do we want to maybe just use initials, just AW? Is that what we did before?
That's how Weston was doing it, so I was.
Oh, okay, all right.
Isn't that Whitman's 3? Would be 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, you're right. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Thank
We don't want to
you.
give him
Sorry,
any
Ms.
extra
Mara.
votes here.
Sorry. Thank you for putting up with us, Ms. Mara.
I
No,
thought
no,
mine
thanks.
could be
Go.
real quick. I'll
Yeah.
do A is 1, K is 2, and I is 3.
Okay,
Mang.
I is 3. Thank you.
A is 1, K.
A is 1, K is 2, I is 3.
Okay, thank you.
I have not in this. Well, it doesn't matter.
Mayor, can you hang on for a second?
Oh yeah, sure.
I'll
It
fix
should be.
it.
It should be 8.
I'm sorry.
That last one should be 8L.
They kept calling it I.
And then I believe Councilmember Mang's vote for M3
Is
should
that
be.
two different things in that?
Isn't
Yeah, I
evaluate the
don't-
Hang on,
sheriff's
we need to,
contract
we need
8I?
to, we need to,
Yes.
you know, just
Okay.
do an insert, if you don't mind, Ms. Mara, just create another cell, another row, do an insert,
If you
or just remove live additions, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And let's let her catch up here a little bit.
Yeah, no problem.
This is really hard to do.
It-
Yeah,
Thank you.
Especially when this page is not set up properly.
yeah,
No, for
it's
sure.
not done very well.
Wow.
So
Yeah, we used to do this, and
Merge
the
cell
hero was always the person
at the
who was
top.
the recorder.
Terrible.
It's like,
Under
oh my
staff.
gosh, thank you.
No worries.
There you go.
Thank you.
No problem.
Why is all
No
that
pressure.
So just delete it.
Okay.
It's anticipating. Yeah, that part.
And I didn't vote on number L. It was just Whitman, so you can take number
Okay.
3.
Okay.
Oh, I is what you said.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
Perfect.
Ms. Mara.
Thank you, Mar. Or,
You're welcome.
Bridget, I was.
Well, there's Mora, there's Mara,
I-
Mara, it's very
Yeah.
confusing. Right, it's very
Too many.
confusing.
Tell me when
Thank
you're
you.
ready.
I am.
Evaluate the sheriff's contract.
So give us the number, please, Mara.
8I is what
Thank
I have
you.
there. And then I'm also going to do the new one, which is assess potential surplus. Yep, 8L. And then I'm also the public facing interactive software. That would be 8K. Thank you. Thanks.
All right. I'm not trying to copy the mayor, but those are mine too. So
Wow.
8I, evaluate the sheriff's contract, and 8L and 8K.
Thanks. You're doing great.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm gonna just mix it up a bit. How uncharacteristic. So my first one is 8L, 8K, and 8I.
Good.
Okay, so it looks like we have agreement for 8I, K, and L as our top three. Am I
That's what I'm
reading that
seeing.
correctly?
Yep.
Okay, so you ended up with 3 priorities and a couple freebies on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound like what we did, everybody?
Yeah.
Oh, Bridget, what are you doing?
I'm just saving
Okay,
it so I
okay,
don't
all right.
lose anything.
All
and
right, okay.
When I click that save button, it goes over. I don't know why.
Okay. Okay, so are we wanting to talk any more about financial stability, or are we wanting to move on to communication relationships?
I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will just mention on 8K, I don't know how complete I was when I suggested this, but it would be lovely to have, explanations of particular terms so that, I don't know if there's interactive software where you click on something and then you actually go to, like a detail about what it actually means. I think that would, and I'm sure that they do,
Yep.
but I think that would be very helpful for people as well to be able to get a definitional clarity.
So forgive me. That is one of the ones we. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So I
Yeah.
see. So when it comes back, to
Yeah,
you
we can
guys-
look at the
We're going to have a whole wish list.
types of
Absolutely.
features that it actually provides.
And there are a number of this used to be that there was only one or two in the industry. Now there's several. So what we'll probably end up doing is, an RFP, RFQ,
Mhm.
and letting you all select, and maybe even having some demos so you can
That'll be wonderful.
decide
very
what you
nice.
want.
Do you believe there's off-the-shelf
Oh
software
yeah,
for
no,
this?
I know.
Okay,
I know
all
for
right.
sure there are.
Yeah, okay.
And I am headed to a conference next week. As you know, this is one of the big things that they tried to sell. So I'll spend less time with ClearGov and OpenGov because I'm familiar with them, but there are probably 5 others now.
Okay, thank you.
And I think there might even be one through. Does Granicus now do this too? They might, or do they own one of those companies? Anyway,
They might own one of
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
companies.
all good.
I'll bring back some.
Thank you very
There are
much.
definitely companies that do.
Yeah,
Yes.
bring
Mhm.
back the literature. As
Yes.
they say. Rachel brought back great literature. I have to say.
Sounds good.
Right. From the conference that she went to.
She's good at that.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you.
So number 9.
Okay,
But
so
I got one last
sorry. go
question about financial stability.
Mhm.
What's the likelihood that 8A is coming? to
Oh,
us?
you know what?
Because, you know,
Forgive
that-
me. I am very sorry.
That was a freebie.
I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. That is
yeah.
a freebie. That is
Yeah.
something that, we are deliberately waiting until our new finance director comes on board. We initially thought we'd have the interim bring this on board, but that was decided just a terrible way
Yeah.
to go because, you have to live with the decisions that are made by this
Mhm.
study. And so we're waiting for that. But this is coming to you. This is already in the
Okay.
plans.
So I'm going to add.
Sorry.
I'm
That's
going
my
to
mistake.
add my. So that won't be my first anymore.
Mhm.
Wait, are we on financial stability now? Or are we on
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
so
since
I wanna-
8A is
I'm
a
gonna-
free-
both picked one.
They both picked
Eight
8A,
one.
so they
We
want
all-
to
But
we
they
both
want
picked
their
8A.
third. They
Yeah.
want their third choice.
I'm
Yes,
sorry.
they do.
So
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
so
I'm sorry.
my third choice. So I'm gonna go with 8I, 8L, and then my third choice is gonna be 8K.
So
My
it's
third.
8I is your first choice?
8,
Yeah.
8I
Yeah.
is number 1.
Okay.
8L is number 2, and 8K is
Okay.
number 3.
Got it.
8L is number 2,
Great.
and then 8K.
And Ms. Bang?
So I will take my. Sorry.
Thanks.
I'll do L number 3.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it looks like.
Okay, go ahead.
Go, no, I'm sorry.
Right?
Which one will
So
be your
then
number
I'll
1?
choose number K will be 2,
Mhm. You have that already. Yep.
and then I guess number what I would be. Wait, I just.
So you have I as your
I will
third.
be number 1.
Okay.
Okay.
So I do have one more question, sorry.
Sorry, before we move on, that looks like that keeps things
It's exactly
static.
the same.
Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. Sorry, thank you.
And just on 8K, before we acquire that software, we're gonna receive a report.
Oh, yes.
You know, how much it costs and
Oh,
all
yes,
that,
yes.
and some analysis of how efficient that is for.
Well, I might even take it further because there are so many offerings in this area. I might have you guys even make a subcommittee and try it out, and you
Okay.
can decide what you
Well,
want.
I've seen also examples. You can go to other places that have it. You can try
Yes.
theirs out on their website and say,
Yes.
oh, this has features
Oh,
you like
okay.
and all
So,
that.
to that end, what we
Yeah.
might do is like you're going to go to this city, you're going to go to that
Mhm.
city, and just using
Right.
different
find the one that
software.
we
Okay.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a demo would be wonderful. So,
Absolutely.
Yes.
and it's a good idea just to go to
Yep.
a city that has it going.
Yep.
Okay,
We
great.
don't have to go. We just go on the internet.
That's
Yeah,
true.
go ahead.
I have a question back on financial stability, and I forgot to ask this a few minutes ago when we started talking about this. But on 8E, would I be correct in saying that we are working with a grant? That this is about the grants management. That we are working with we have contract grant writers.
Yes.
Who do they do some of that
They could.
management and reporting?
This specifically talks about a grant management policy, which
Mhm.
will be something we will be working towards once we bring Ms. Cervantes over to the assistant to the city manager position. She'll be in that grant oversight role, but we do also have a vendor that is our grant writer. So she's managing that. She would be managing that contract.
Great.
We could develop a policy, which the council could then review and approve as part of that. But again, I want to bring her into that role and let her get her feet wet, and then we can do that.
Okay, so this might be a to be continued.
Yes.
Freebie.
This could be a freebie
down the road.
This could be a freebie as well. Yep.
Thank you.
I would say the more robust we have a grant writing policy, the more we'll need that position. That's what I've
Right.
noticed in nonprofit
Right.
work. Yep.
You're
Cool.
right.
Great. Okay, number 9.
Okay, so we're letting you guys have 5 minutes. Is that
But
what we're-
freebies first. Freebies
Oh, sorry,
first.
freebies. All right, let me focus on a moment here.
Like 9D is in process.
Yes, that is, I would say 9D.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let me take a look here.
And also 9C. Right? Are we doing?
We're near complete. You could take that as a freebie. Yes, I would say,
Okay.
because that is our plan to finish that. Yes, thank
Mhm.
you. Well, this month you had a meeting every week, so you know.
I was gonna say it's like halfway.
Can I add one to this?
Uh-huh.
And I think I'd like to add hiring an events and like an events and communications director, like a role that would help to oversee Libby Bowl, some of the events that we have, work with Trepepe Smith and work on the communications and public relations. Because I've heard from a number of people in the community just about how while we have a great contract with OVM for Libby Bowl, that there are also things that are community events that would that it would make more sense for them to liaise with the city versus OVM. So I'm just going to add that there.
Mm-hmm.
I have 2 to add.
Will you hold on one second, Mr. Whitman, just to make sure that Ms. Mara gets that?
So maybe could we call it?
Well, we already had this position previously. This was the one that Ms. Rivera was in. It's
Right.
in events.
Mhm.
It was a events and PIO coordinator.
It's vacated currently.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we could just say fill that position.
Fill the events and
Fill
PIO
the
coordinator.
the vacant events and PIO position. I think that was her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't need to be a tactic then. If we could just if that's something that we could just fill.
you guys
Well,
are
because
right.
it's not a priority right now.
You
to
guys
do
are
that.
right.
Okay.
Because
I
we have
think it
to.
should be there.
We took the funding for that position, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of right.
So
So
I think it should be a tactic. Thank
Yeah.
you, Ms. Mara. Yeah, Mr. Whitman, please.
Yeah, so I've got a couple to add.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see us have a clear statement on our webpage of our form of government and the roles that city manager, department heads, city council, mayor spells out, because I think that there is a certain amount of confusion amongst the public about how our government works, and I'll just give an example. City of Orange has a page on their website that, you know, basically explains city council, the city manager, the city treasurer, the city clerk, the city departments, and you know, what they do and what they don't do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to have that kind of a statement, and maybe it comes to us through a resolution where we agree on that. And then my other one
Before
is
you
that,
before you leave that one, might I suggest something, which is when we see 9B, evaluate the city's website to improve ease of use for the public. Just a thought that there's many things that might fall into that, but if I understand you rightly, and I like what you're saying, that there would be a whole list of things that would fall into that category. Now I'm happy to have it be separated, but I'm also happy to say that can be part of that list.
yeah, evaluate the city's website is pretty large,
It is large.
but
Happy to have it separated. I was trying to give us a double out of that.
yeah, I think whatever we could bring the city's website back and then discuss information that we think should be included in the website. I'm okay with that.
It sounds like it seems like a committee that would do, or at least a couple of people would be tasked with all. It's going to be a long list of things in my mind, but
Okay.
anyway, yeah.
So, sorry, was the decision to roll that into 9B? Was that the
How
decision?
do you feel about that? Whatever you want.
I'm okay with that as long as it's clear that includes updating,
It's like a flow chart. It's an org chart.
basically.
Mhm.
Sort of. When I look at the city of Orange, they've actually taken it a little bit further. There's a narrative. They talk about how they're a general law city, council manager form of government. Then they explain who their council is, and they explain the roles of the council, and then role of city manager, role of city treasurer. There's like a paragraph under each of these.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what
That's what I have in mind, and we can.
I think that
that was
this
just one city that I thought did it.
I'm going to give you a
well,
freebie. Why don't we,
Yeah.
this we could
Do it.
We
Yeah.
could just do
Copy
this.
and
There's
paste,
just-
baby.
this
Copy and
is-
paste.
We don't need a tag. We'll just
Okay.
we can just
Great.
do this.
Okay.
So we'll
Alright.
give you that one.
And
It's
then,
a task.
My other one is that, each of us serves on, some community, some one of these countywide or regional boards, one or more. I'm on 4, I think. And right now we kind of have it as kind of optional whether you report or not. I think we need to be a little more proactive in terms of, making it, I don't want to use the term mandatory, but maybe, more assertive and informative about what's happening on these regional boards.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You could, if I may suggest, use your opportunity during council comments to report out when you're going to these additional boards, as long as you don't engage in a discussion about it. If you feel like you're going to engage in a discussion about it, I think we should look to having an agenda item
Mm-hmm.
if your
Right.
report's going to be more robust. But
And my tactic is that, as opposed to it being completely optional to report about what has transpired at your board meetings, that you do a solely informational, these are the issues that have been discussed.
are you suggesting to update your protocols to require it? Or are you
If
thinking
that's
a
the-
stand, like,
If that's the right place to do it.
I think
mean,
that would be an appropriate place to put it. You could also request, I guess, an agenda item, Mr. City Manager.
Okay, finding a home for this. Wouldn't this be best in the boards and commission handbook?
No, because it regulates, I believe you're talking about
I'm
the
talking about when
additional
we sit
committees.
on
Right, I get
a
that. So,
regional.
So, but it would be for
board.
the council.
well, sorry, but the boards. I'm calling okay. The boards and commission handbook also, if I recall correctly, there's a part in there that deals with the council too. Am I misremembering that?
I would need a refresher. I believe that
We can,
we've
we don't
kept
need
it
to bother you with all
Yes.
this. Well, we can find. I think I understand what you're.
Is this another freebie?
Yeah, it should be another free
I-
because it
yeah.
can be protocols, it can be update on the website.
But I'm going to bother
you
you
know.
one more time. If you don't mind just stating succinctly, please, what you said at the
Yes.
start, and I'll just to get this
Okay.
correctly. Go
I'm
for
going to use the word mandatory but I don't like that word. But
Maybe expected.
expected,
That's good.
reporting on general information items from the regional boards we serve on.
Okay, thank you.
And
That's
if I
helpful.
might suggest, just in our agenda, the way it's laid out, we've made some adjustments, which I really like, including the city manager report, the way it's listed. So if you had before the adjournment a listing there, it's a prompt for just we might forget, and it would be
No,
nice
that's
to
great.
include
That's
that there.
that
Okay,
done. That's an easy
Great.
one. We can
Okay.
just do that.
we could do
I
that
love
right away.
it. That's simple.
Okay,
And it just would be a standing item on every meeting, just in
Mhm.
case you happen to have somebody going to a meeting, right?
Mhm.
Yep, okay. Does that sound good?
Great.
Thank you.
Don't have to amend anything.
Yeah,
No, it's
oh my
super- it's
God.
easy,
That
it's
sounds great
great.
to me.
But thanks. That's good.
Yeah, and
It's
I
easy to
think-
forget.
I think it's, we'll have to be clear that, because I know that the tendency will be to fall into discussion as opposed to a report. So we need to have some way of keeping us on track and saying, does this need,
Discipline.
It's gonna say, report
Well-
out only,
Yeah.
Right.
in the title.
Information only.
And we'll just sit there and just say,
Plus, it'll be the last
Yeah,
thing
good
at
luck.
the end at the
oh,
day, and
that's
we're not going to
true.
want to do
People will
that.
say,
Yeah.
I got nothing to say.
I think
I
too-
went there, it was fun.
I
Goodbye.
think too, if you have a lot to talk about,
Mhm.
then bring it to Ben and we can find a strategy
item.
of.
well,
like,
there's
if
an easy
there's
one,
something
and
more
sorry,
robust.
and I know this is not on the
Mhm.
agenda, but what I've seen in other places I've served is it's common for a council member to bring an executive summary from the meeting they were just at. We put on the
Mhm.
consent calendar, slap a little one
Mhm.
sentence agenda report on the top. This is from last month's VCTC
Mhm.
meeting. Please review,
Okay.
you know.
Super.
I love more. I'm joking. No, actually, I think
It's
that's
just,
a good idea.
but it's nice because then the
Yeah.
public is brought in the loop as to whatever that you've just experienced, and then it's an opportunity.
That's a
Mhm.
great idea because then if you want to talk about it, you can talk about it.
Yes.
So,
Rachel Lang, and just bring your material back, and we can just take it from you and just put it on the
Mhm.
agenda.
okay.
I would like to add something to
Yeah.
9. I don't know if I want to do one or both. I'm up for discussion. Like a community workshop, a community survey to go out, like rating, what do you think we're doing? You know, they voted us in. How do you feel of our performance, where we need to improve?
You
What do you
bet.
think about the roads, the this?
You bet. Just a general community.
Kind of, and I
Survey?
would like to see the list, if we could agree things that should be added or whatever
Sure.
before the survey goes out. And I don't know if, sending a survey to everyone and having a workshop to get them
So
out for-
what folks have done, what I've seen elsewhere where I've worked is kind of exactly what you're talking about. The council develops a survey, it goes out, you get the results back, you bring the community in to talk about it, and then sometimes you even just publish those results based on what you heard from the community and
Yeah.
kind of lay out what your next steps are.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's great. Very helpful.
Yep.
Sorry if I could just expound upon this. What I've done elsewhere where I've worked, and I'm glad you're bringing this up, is you then take those survey results and those become the basis for the next set of goals that are created.
So when do you think we could do, is it feasible to have it by the end of the year to start a new year off fresh? I know that's pushing it, that's a
Well,
lot,
I
but it's
think we could-
I feel like a year has gone by, I've been, seated for a year, and when I play it back in my head, what's been done, I feel like a slacker. Like-
Well, you've done a lot. Let me tell you that. You've done a lot. And if you,
I will second the motion that you are not slack.
yeah, if you look at, sorry, I've got a two-pronged response. We could do it in the first quarter of 26, for sure.
Okay.
And I think that would be logical.
And it all depends on how long the survey is.
It does.
Right, it doesn't have to be
is.
huge, you know what I mean,
Yes.
basic stuff.
We all get fussy about the survey questions, though, don't we?
Yes.
Anyway,
but it
it's
is
not
helpful.
simple.
But if you look at the newsletters and the weekly updates, and I'm happy to give you a whole packet of all of them, you'll see that we as a group have accomplished a whole lot this
Nice.
past year.
And that would be nice to share with everybody so
Sure.
we can look at it and see when we feel like we're always getting beat up for what we're doing. It would be nice to say, hey, look what we've done together.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You
that's
bet.
great.
So we're gonna add, sorry, just to finalize this, that would 9M, right? 9M. I'm looking.
And
Oh, because we removed the
No.
City of Orange thing. Sorry.
Oh.
So is it L then? 9L?
No, there's two on the back. You're missing two.
Oh, gosh.
M and an N.
Sorry. Okay.
M and an O.
Okay. City, just community survey. Just put, is that an okay working title?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
There's more to it than that, obviously, but
Yep.
I think everybody knows what that is.
Super.
That's great.
Okay.
So,
Can you give us a minute to vote for? Give us 1 second, unless you're wanting to add another item.
I'm going to ask a question.
Okay.
So she shouldn't have to type.
Super.
On 8H.
8?
8?
Or
Oh,
8 or
9H.
Yeah. Okay.
Excuse me.
Yep.
This idea of doing, I would think maybe a quarterly meeting to receive community input on kind of a general basis.
I'm going to be reticent to change any of your tactics, but if you guys want to, that's okay.
Like if it, I mean, that's only 1 month difference, right? So if you said,
Well, it says bi-monthly right now, so
I
that's
take that to
twice
be-
a month.
no, I take that to be every 2 months. Semi-monthly would be
Oh,
half.
okay.
That's okay. So
No, I'm okay with that.
okay.
I'm okay,
Okay,
with
so
that.
every 2 months, not
When
twice
I
a
read
month.
bi-monthly, I was
know.
thinking twice per month.
That's
Okay.
English is tricky that way, but no, it's true.
Yeah.
Like I should have, but quarterly is fine too. Completely fine.
And before I voted on that, I would want to know who the host was. 'Cause there's
what-
that
Well,
parenthetical.
the idea was that it would be rotating hosts. So council members could sign up for a particular day and they would host a
love
town
it.
meeting or a town forum based on what they wanted to discuss. They could, partner up with another council member if they were
Mhm.
so inclined, or do it on their own. And it would be up to the council member what topic they wanted to discuss. That was how I understood it when we were first discussing it. That it's up to the council, the council, it would be rotating, and it would be up to the council member to decide what they felt the community needed to have a town forum on.
So the way it's written, it sounds like it's an opportunity for the public to come to us, but what you just described sounded more like, us to do a concept review with the public.
I would think you could, they could be both, really. I mean, I think you can sort of design it however you would like.
Because I have a slightly different memory, which is not there. It's not exclusively different. I was thinking when we were talking about this, we could be here all receiving the feedback of people coming in, and we publicize it widely. And all it is it's a way of just receiving feedback. So we're not deliberating about anything. We're just getting features. But that's an idea too.
Yeah, that's an idea too. And if
Mhm.
that's the way that people want to handle it, that's fine, because it is possible for council members to do forums on their own at any time that they want.
Right.
So I just thought it would be nice to have something that was pretty regular. And I think that it could be, the first half an hour, 45 minutes is just public comment, just discussion amongst
Mhm.
whoever shows up. You have a circle or whatever you want to have. I was
Yeah.
just envisioning it to be more open-ended so that whoever was hosting,
I see
I
that.
didn't see it as, we would all be here
Uh-huh.
and we would all be,
Whatever.
So whatever.
It's
but-
open at this point.
But would it be best with everybody? Because to give your opinion, it wouldn't be what we wanted. How do we clarify that?
So it's done a number of different ways in a number of different cities. In some
Mhm.
cities, individual council members have forums, and it's come down and talk to council member so and so about this. Other cities don't go that route, and they have one council member lead, but everybody's there. It just really depends on what you guys.
Because
want
I mean,
to
if you go have coffee with somebody and they ask you your opinion and you give it, that's perfectly legitimate,
Right.
even if we might all agree with your opinion or whatever. But I was thinking that the vision for that was something like we were looking for ways to get the community to come and talk with us. And then I think, if I recall correctly now, the vision in part was maybe that's a Saturday. So maybe once a quarter or something like that, you have a Saturday afternoon that we're here maybe we're not all here, but somehow we're here, and then the public completely comes, and it's just a place for us to listen to whoever wants to bring things forward to us. That's an idea, but
That worked.
I'm not married to any one of those
I
things.
think we would have to be careful too about the way that we notice it
Mhm.
because the Brown Act,
Of course,
it's a wet blanket
right,
on this type of community engagement. So as
Mhm.
long as it's a listening session
right,
and you're not talking, that would be fine.
right.
Otherwise, I would encourage you to pick a topic
Mm-hmm.
that you're focusing on with the community.
Or maybe then it's whatever, pick the topic.
Right.
One of these goals probably.
If
and
you're
it's-
all going to
it's
be
around
there.
that subject.
If you pick a different strategy that's less than majority of you,
Okay.
it's not a
So that
problem.
needs, if that's our tactic, it has
Less
to
than a
be
problem.
figured out a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what I was just gonna
That's
say,
good.
is that if that's our tactic, then we need kind of a report on options and
Cool.
mechanics of how that would work.
maybe a concept review.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we see if this becomes a priority, and then
Yeah,
we can
then
go
we can
from
decide.
there. You guys want to do this? We can do that. And
I'm sure we can take the feedback from other cities that do things like this.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool. How many votes did we get? 4? I know.
3 votes. You got 2 freebies.
Okay.
Actually, no, we've given you a couple bonus freebies.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
You took on some tasks.
That's
Thank
right.
you for that.
that's right.
Which one is?
Yeah. So that doesn't have to be there.
Did 9B end up being a freebie?
You want me to take it out completely?
No.
No.
What ended up being a freebie is your desire for the roles and responsibilities within the city government.
Okay.
Take it out.
The city of, I'm just calling this the City of Orange page.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna copy that.
This one doesn't have a little. Oh, it did. Okay. Sorry.
Man, this one's hard for me.
I actually, I have another one. Is that possible? Just going to throw it out.
Mhm.
So, Mr. Steingold spoke about, having a, something that went out to brokers to give to new owners. And as I was as I was standing in front of a tree that was being amputated, it occurred to us that really nobody told owners about, the responsibilities they have to these very old trees. It's really possible that you would buy a home and have no sense of what the obligations are going to be. And I have heard the mayor speak that we need to have a sort of welcome packet
Mhm.
of sorts. And I think it could be a welcome packet, a welcome, as well as these are really things that, most people who have lived here 10 years know. We'd like you to know it as well.
That sounds similar to what we said last week, which was that the proactive enforcement, that we would publicize something that would be printed and then also on the website. So it's
And
like that.
Yeah.
It's like that.
I
That
would say that's a
definitely is
freebie.
a communication tactic, and
Mhm.
So on this one,
I'd like to add that as a.
Mhm.
I think it's
as a
really
tactic.
important that people understand it's
oh.
fire hardening, it's trees.
so I think we have this on our this, if it's not yet on the report of reports, it should be, but this was direction, I believe, given last week. And for instance, on this item that Councilman Rule is bringing up, this also dovetails into the tree ordinance that's coming back to you as well, because
Exactly.
there will be substantive changes to that, and it's hard, but yeah, we'll be drawing attention to the fact that we have a robust tree ordinance, among other things here.
What the chamber is also doing this already.
They are.
Creating so that this might be a freebie because they're already creating welcome baskets and welcome information for anyone who's new here,
Mhm.
both residents and with the business community as
Yeah.
well.
So
They're
that would be
looking to
great if we
collaborate
could
that.
If we
add
could give
that
them
to
more
the-
direction.
Yeah, give them more
Yeah.
direction and and add that. That would be really
And
great.
they're open to that.
Yep.
They want
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and you know, like when people move in when renters move in, you have to give them, you know, all of this documentation about, you know, termites and lead paint and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So even because this home that I was in front of was occupied by renters. So it's also really possible that they don't know and they might have to liaison with the owners. So just to keep in mind ways that we can make sure that renters are also involved in this, because the renters in this house truly cared about that tree. They weren't mad at the owners or anything, but they
No.
truly cared about that. They just didn't have any knowledge about it.
Understood. So we can't have 4 on this one, huh? We did it before.
Well, I think just to clarify, set expectations, we did it when we actually had ties. So let's see
Okay.
where the voting ends
All
up,
right,
and then
cool,
we can
cool. All
we
right.
can see. So if
That's
you're
good.
strategic and you're watching your fellow members vote, maybe you can squeeze
So
one
I-
in.
I-
There you go.
I do have a couple more questions, so.
Mm-hmm.
We're passing the one we just spoke about off to the
On-
council, to the chamber or to some
Yeah, and
other-
we also have direction from you to develop this
Okay.
list of the
All right.
important ordinances, and so that's on our list of reports. And I just made a note that we're going to follow up
Okay.
with the chamber and
Great.
try to address renters as part of this. And yeah.
Great. Thank you so much.
As Ms. Anderson said last time, how did you put it? It was so funny. It was
What
like,
makes Ojai
yes,
special?
exactly.
Yeah.
What makes Ojai
There
special?
are a lot of laws that are here that other people may
Yeah.
not have. We have a lot of unique laws in Ojai, so.
If you may not want to, if you just zoom back just the slightest little bit on the screen, then everybody could see them all at once. One command minus or control minus.
I don't know how.
Yeah, either way.
mine works.
Yeah, so just a couple of questions. On 9C,
Where is it at?
Yes, 9C.
Oh,
On your
control
keyboard.
my-
Granicus software.
yeah,
That's near complete. That's a freebie.
okay.
And then scroll up.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yes.
And then,
is in process, so that's.
Yep, freebie.
Yeah, you have to do
yeah,
one more.
and then we got, so 9A.
Huh?
It seems like we're constantly in a communication
Or go to view at the
strategy.
top. Edit
Well,
your menu.
What was
There you go.
What was the purpose on 9A? Because it seems like we're always evolving our
Thanks. That's better.
communication strategy.
Well, I think we were actually discussing developing a more robust policy document where we outline what our objectives are, how we're going to achieve them, who will be involved, why, all those types of things. Yes, you are right. It's very important to us. We've made it a goal, but I think that this kind of could be the foundation of your goal, where you really establish, why is communication important to us? How are we supposed to do it? What are we supposed to communicate on? Who is doing it? How is that divided up amongst the organization? All those types of things. Is there a cadence to things coming out? Some cities have things like that.
So what happens if they don't meet the mark?
Well, yeah, right. Well, no, but it's a playbook, right? And so it's just, where your point is valid. Like right now, we might all think that we know what we're doing and why we're doing it, but what you think should be happening, maybe what I do might be different, right? Because of different understanding. So it's just a way that we're all literally on the same page. Hey, this is what our policy says. You did this. That's different than our policy. Not trying to get somebody in trouble, but you know what I mean? But just so we're all like
No, because I
grounded.
think it would be good because, with all the employees and stuff, I don't know who's who, what department. When I send something to somebody, it comes back from a different department. I'm like, oh, well, they must be, you know what I mean? So the confusion there. So,
But I think this is less, we could have an internal communication section too, but I was thinking this was more how we communicate to the community, other agencies, that type of thing. What are we trying to do? How are we trying to get that out there?
I'm ready to vote.
Okay.
So I've got one more question, sorry.
Okay.
9L is the possibility of a stipend for commissioners. And I'm just, do we currently have a reimbursement and education program or a policy for our
We do have a reimbursement policy. I would have to look at it to see if it expressly states commissioners. I think the short answer is yes, because I'm just remembering now. We have sent planning commissioners to training, and I know that a number of them, when they did that, used their personal credit cards, which we reimbursed them for.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that the policy doesn't need to be revised or revisited.
Yeah, so
But the idea here, and
Totally
you
different.
brought it up too, was some pay.
Yeah, this
Some
is
literal pay.
different. Yeah. Well, this one, consider modest stipend for commissioners.
Right.
That's totally different than the reimbursement.
Right.
The reimbursement policy, Kathy Holman is currently working on an
Okay.
updated version of it.
Okay, great. Thank
It's
you.
the freebie part of it.
Appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you, Kathy.
Just to fill that out, I thought what we were saying was there might be people who would love to be on a commission but can't afford to not work at a night, so it expanded the pool of possible candidates and maybe younger people possibly and that kind of stuff. So that's why we need more than 3 votes. Boom. Okay. Okay, I'll vote it, then let's go forward. I'm gonna say, Bridget, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, 9M.
No.
So let's fill the vacant events spot. And then right where you are, 9N, right below there. And then 9H.
what is 9N?
9N is the community survey that Ms. Bang brought up. But if you look on the screen, you'll see it, but it was added. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'll go next. Whenever you're ready, are
I
you
am.
ready? Okay, okay, right. So my number 1 is 9B. Number 2 is 9M. And number 3 is 9A.
You ready?
Yeah, I
Okay.
am. My number 1 is 9I. My number 2 is 9M.
M is in Mary.
M is in Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And my number 3 is 9H.
9H. Okay. Either one of you? Yeah, please.
I have, number 1 is N. Number 2 is B. And number 3 is H.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Those are mine, too.
Great.
I-
Okay.
So
9, same as council member Mang had just communicated, same order and everything.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay, so we ended up with,
Well, the council, the town halls got 4 votes.
yeah.
And then
As-
there's three of them also that have 3, so.
Okay, so you got your wish, Mayor. You got 4, right?
Yes.
So,
Thank you, stars.
yeah, so it maybe just, Ms. Marr, do you want to just read us the ones that the top 4? Can you do that for us, please? Just because it's small font.
the item there.
The top 4 priorities, if you would, please. Top 4 votes. Can you do that?
Bi-monthly town halls to hear the community, possible CM hosting schedule. 9M, fill the vacant events with PIO position.
Events and PIO
and
position, right?
Thank you. And 9N is community survey on council progress.
Mhm.
And then 9B is evaluate the city's website to improve ease of use for the public.
Okay.
Okay, does that sound
Yep.
like what we did, Council?
What I really like about the survey is that if the survey shows something that we have not voted on, we're gonna
Right,
do
we
it.
can-
I mean, if it has
Yeah,
a big
it can be
preponderance
helpful.
of response, yeah.
And to your earlier discussion on this, it's going to be really important, like you were talking about, to develop the questions that,
Absolutely.
right.
I
Yay.
feel like I need to point out that we have heard over and over and over again, but perhaps we will get it in the survey, that we need to improve transparency. And I just want to say that,
Maybe it can come out in the survey.
yeah, hopefully it will, but I think
We need more
it
votes.
has come out in the survey for the last year. There has been very clear survey in the last year on that one. But perhaps we need to have it quantified. All good. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Thank
we're,
you.
we're at 7:35. We could take a quick break, or we have 3 items left. I'm assuming that the Public Safety Commission won't be a quick thing, possibly. I'm open to what you guys think, but we could do one more or take a break.
I'm fine with doing one more.
Let's do one more. Okay. So concept review, Public Safety Commission.
Yes, thank
Thank
you, Mayor and Council.
Wonderful.
This is something that the Assistant City Attorney and I have been working on for some time, and this comes from an idea from other cities where I have served, where you create a Public Safety Commission as a forum, a Public Safety Commission, which would be a proposed Brown Act body, council-appointed body, 5 members, where items of concern related to traffic, speed, roadways, fire hardening, come first for review and discussion before this advisory body. And we were envisioning that it would be 5 appointed community members, and you could certainly decide if you wanted to have qualifications for those appointees. You would get the benefit of having the public works director, the police chief, and the fire chief to be at this meeting, to be subject matter experts and answer questions. It may be, depending on what's on the meeting, that you might also sometimes have a traffic engineer there as well. We're recommending a quarterly meeting, but of course, any of these things are up for your discussion and review. This is just a concept review item, but it's been our experience in our time here that, you know, some of the items that this body discusses might be better served by first coming before an advisory board for some review, and then maybe bubbling up to this council as a recommendation. Of course, we're open to any types of suggestions as to how you want to form this. And Ms. Anderson, did I leave anything out that you want to discuss?
No. Ooh, my mic was already on. No, I don't think so. But I think, as Mr. City Manager said, trash or treasure, right? This is our proposal to you. If you love the idea, great. If you want to change it within the limits that the Brown Act allows, please feel free this evening, or we can come back and rework based on your ideas.
So the kinds of ideas, tell me if I'm wrong, that have been brought up and what instigated this proposal are things like, oh, I'd love to see this on this street, you know, or like speed humps on this thing, could we look at that? And so instead of coming here first, it would go to this body.
That's right, because
Okay.
what I've seen elsewhere where I've worked, then that citizen that has the concern, you know, then has the opportunity to hear from the police chief and the public works director about, you know, their thoughts or the feasibility of what's proposed. The body discusses it. You know, not all ideas are enthusiastically received. Some are, but it's a starting point. Just a thought.
I think also we just finished the goals on communication. You had, I think, 2 or 3 items about having additional meetings, right? If I know anything about Ojai, the community likes to talk about things and process them at length. So adding this commission would be an opportunity for the community to do that before a formal recommendation comes to council, and it allows that lead time that we know the community and this council prefers.
Yeah.
And I just have, my first thought is, with qualifications, no special expertise is required. And I briefly had this conversation with you on Ojai Day. If
Sure.
I'm trusting somebody with the safety of myself and my family and my community, I want them to know, you know, so I don't know if we can reach out to retired, you know,
Sure.
fire people, but
Well, you could make it a requirement if you like. You could say that, you know, as a preference for an appointee, you want current
It's
or
coming.
past public
Before we get to
safety.
before we get to discussion, we'll just ask questions and then get to the public comment.
Oh,
But-
sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
So that's
you
just
could
my-
say, you know, sorry, like what we talked about on Ojai Day, you know, past or present public safety experience preferred. And in giving examples, you know, fire service, police service, you know, well, you can even argue to a degree, because this commission would be dealing with traffic and transportation related things. You know, transit experience is also very valuable.
Driver's license.
We would want that
It
as
just
well.
seems like we could get more accomplished and be more productive if you had that in your toolbox coming into it.
Did,
For sure.
just a quick, aren't we going to have 3 sort of standing members? As we discussed, we would have the police chief,
Well, they're
a fire
freebies.
chief.
They're freebies.
Yeah, yeah, I
members,
just
they're
want to
in the
make,
room.
I just want to make sure that it's understood that
Oh,
we
yes.
will have experts in the room at the time.
Yes.
Yeah,
Um,
so
But I believe they
I
would
think
have a
what
staff role, or are we talking about?
And Public Works.
Well,
we-
sorry, let me just clarify what I was envisioning. But
Yeah.
I'm not the policymaker.
Right,
What I was,
right.
when I had this in other places where I've worked, the public works director, the fire chief, and the police chief were all there as
Right.
staff liaisons.
right,
There were 5 appointees,
right.
and then when the audience or the board had a question, it was always someone was able to answer the question.
Right. So my point being that there is a
There's
very
expertise.
high level of expertise in the room, which
Yes.
doesn't mean that the members shouldn't also have that, but just as a way to understand the ultimate, you know, authority on that issue will be in the room.
And
So that's just important to know, in my opinion.
to echo what Ben said, my experience has been the same, is that the experts in the room typically are staff, and it is the fire chief, the police chief, public works director,
Like
maybe
planning's a lot
traffic
like that.
engineer.
The planning commission seems like it operates in that way. You do have expertise, but then you have experts in the room. Any more questions before we go to public comments? Okay.
is there,
Oh, yeah, go
I
ahead.
do have a question.
Sure.
So is there a downside to having those experts as members of the committee, given that I envision the role would be to vet the information that's coming from the community and then
Yes.
report back to us what
I can think of a downside. Councilor Mang and Mayor Gilman, forgive this analogy.
Oh, sure,
but,
sure.
There's a perception by some, if staff are serving in a committee role, that, you know, that they might be biased, or they're not.
pushing the agenda in
Yes,
some direction.
and the reason why I was asking you to forgive the analogy is, you know, I've heard that critique of the finance budget committee that, oh, well, you know, we got. So anyway, it's just whatever. That's the downside I see. So this way, if you have 5 appointees that aren't staff, then they're deciding. And again, it's only an advisory body, right? All these would come to you for ultimate decision, but that way their recommendations are pure, so to speak, and there's no trash or treasure, the input from the police chief on the item.
So would they come up with what, the committee would come up with what they feel is important, or would it be direction from us if we had so many meetings, said, okay, here, take it back to the community?
So you can, and this is the beauty of it, you can design that however you want. In other cities where I've worked, it's just been a preliminary forum. And so what we've done in other cities where I've been, somebody would come to a council meeting often, or they'd send in a concern, and I would say, you know what, we'd ask that you please first start with the Traffic Safety Commission. They're meeting on Tuesday. You can bring this to them for their consideration, see what they say. But also what I saw too was sometimes the city council would say, you know, we've got an item that we want to first refer to the Traffic
Right.
Safety Commission for them to discuss, flesh it out, and then bring it back to us. So it can work both ways.
Yeah,
I
I
like
think so basically a one-way street or a two-way street, and that
Yeah.
could be part of the discussion.
Yep. I like
Yep.
that. That's
yeah.
good.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Miley, please, and then Mr. Steingold.
Hello. An item whose time has arrived. All along, from the first creation of city governments in California, public safety laws, regulations, and intents have been a primary priority. Considering forming a city commission to aid, enhance, sustain efforts to meet present and future public safety needs and forecasted occurrences is a grand idea. looking at the 3 levels of prevention. To prevent negative events before they happen, great idea, best. Sometimes we will never know what happened, didn't happen, unless the public commission acknowledges it's likely and prevented. Recognizing hazardous situations early on to correct can create harm, can correct warming smiles and no losses. And finally, there are those elements which cause harm over and over. Without intervention, finding those to mitigate can be a challenge, but rewarding, like an intersection without a stop sign. I want to suggest, should the council deem our legal agencies be involved, but not necessarily members, but available as resource people, especially when the agenda item published includes fire, police, such, water, and then we have, those are the legal agencies. Then we have the districts like water, land resources, air pollution. One specific entity I believe should be a commission member is our Ojai Valley Fire Safety Council. This nonprofit organization is at the center of community wildfire risks, which, if not mitigated, we don't have community. It's a good move by city administration and council members. I like it a lot. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Steingold, please.
Good evening. What he said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, for word, keeps it really simple. Fire chief, police, that's fine. They can be liaison, they can get copies, but they don't necessarily have to be there unless it's an agenda item that needs their specific expertise. That goes without saying. That's for water and fire, everything, anything regarding public safety, traffic, transport, because you need advice from people who have an interest in doing this, because you can't do everything. You can try, but you'll fail. Okay, you just will. And that because you can't do it all. Even with the city manager and all the staff, they can't do it all. And to have people who have been doing it for Caltrans and for retired police or retired, you're getting the same people who have created what we have now. Okay, and that's their mindset, and that's their training, and that's their experience. No harm, but so we need new people, new ideas, new something. Because doing the same thing, we're not going forward, we're going sideways. So, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mara, anybody online?
No, there's not, maybe.
Okay. Wonderful. So it's interesting to talk about expertise. So I was thinking of the Planning Commission as an example. So in the Planning Commission, you have the legal advice there. You have our department director. And then we have also suggested we're looking for some expertise in the members, but they don't all have to have something, but we're asking for some. So a subset of expertise seems okay. I mean, it has a precedent is what I mean by that. So that would be all right. That'd be fine. And it's funny, Ms. Mega, I was thinking about this. I don't want people just to argue round and round about something that they want without the expert telling them why it's impossible or whatever. Right. So you don't want to waste time, and I don't want to waste anybody's time. So some expertise in the room, in the members, seems like a reasonable thing. I'm open to your ideas. Yeah.
So my thought on the expertise of members, of the community members who are appointed, is that it's not really their role to assess the issues. It's more like figuring out what the problem is, how to communicate it to us. And I mean, I would say that they have, although there's an advisory role, I would see there being no obligation to make a recommendation to us if they didn't feel like they nailed it. It's really, it's really for us to see and understand, so I like the idea of having a board that can collect the public input on these issues. I'm gonna guess that these meetings might be more like an hour or an hour and a half, and might be a lot more palatable than coming to a 4-hour city council meeting. So we might get more people coming out on that issue. And so, I would want to make it. I like the idea of calling it an advisory committee or advisory board. And I'm supportive of it as long as we're not making it a, policy making.
Agreed.
And so in that sense, I'm thinking that the members, it might be better for us not to have, specialized people on that board.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, one thing that we could do is meet in the middle, like we do with the Planning Commission, which is 2 members. I think 2 members have to have some kind of expertise, but the others aren't required to. That's one. I liked what you started with, which was we could think about structuring this the way that we think about the Planning Commission. Because there are some people who are very passionate about safety and these issues who don't have any background in law enforcement or fire, but who come to our meetings, voice their concerns. And I do see this being the kind of place where if someone is having an issue with stop signs or with putting together some kind of addressing concerns around fire safety, that this would be a place where the public could come, voice their concerns, like you said, not have to sit through a long city council meeting, and where any council member could watch those and hear those concerns.
And if I could just jump in, sorry, not to interrupt, but there are, what I've seen in other places where I've worked, sometimes an item will come forward that is just purely operational, that, the public works director can take, we weren't aware that, the curb face had deteriorated at this one sidewalk.
There's a
and it's
pothole
causing
or
it.
something.
Right, and we're just gonna take that and just go fix that. So you
That's
do have
wonderful.
things like that too. Thank you.
Ms. Anderson, would you mind speaking to, we all have received an email communication, but also what Mr. Miley brought up. So if there were somebody from an agency that we have a contract with, like the Fire Safe Council, what difficulty does that present, or if any?
I think that there's a few things when you're picking someone specifically from an organization that we contract with versus zooming out a little bit more and focusing on the expertise of that person. From an ethics standpoint, you have a potential for conflicts of interest depending on what the subject matter is and the agenda items that go before the commission. So that would be something to be thoughtful of. I also think that you have a public perception problem of selecting someone specifically from a group that we contract with, that they're influencing potentially their own contract, where if a person who we contract with is selected versus requiring someone from a contractor, because that's a lot of contract in that. Does that make sense? Like the difference of if someone applies and they have the expertise and they happen to be someone that we contract with, that's one thing, but requiring a specific organization.
Right.
It would be the same thing if we had a committee on homelessness and you required help of Ojai to participate.
Understood.
Right. Even though they're a nonprofit organization, they're providing that service to the city. They're someone that we would want their feedback. We could have them apply and be on the committee if they wanted, or commission if they wanted to be, and they were qualified. But I wouldn't focus your members solely based on that organization, if that makes sense.
So let me offer you a hypothetical. So we will have the fire chief in the room, as is pointed out, and if you said, well, we want somebody interested in developing community communication plans around fire resilience. Obviously, the Fire Safe Council is doing that work, but they're not the only one doing that work. So, for
Correct.
example, if I heard you right, you're saying have the desired role be a desire, not from an organization, but you spell out what you want. that
Yeah,
person
so
to
for
know.
example,
Okay.
having someone who has,
Yeah.
we could write language surrounding
Mhm.
expertise regarding fire hardening,
Mhm.
right? Very
Mhm.
broad terminology so that,
Yeah.
Trying to think of a
That's a good
polite
example.
way to put this. Like, focusing on an organization, I think, is short-sighted, right? We don't want to
Mhm.
have to continue to come back. What if something happens, right? I think the Fire Safe Council is going to be around for a long
it's
time.
not, this isn't
right?
about them. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Or same with other organizations where I would focus instead on the expertise that you expect of these people. So traffic safety,
Mhm.
Maybe former law enforcement or law enforcement type experience, right? These broader categories that the
Mhm.
commission is going to deal with,
Mhm.
similar to what we have for planning commission.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that we shouldn't be requesting personnel from a particular organization, but we are also not disqualifying people who happen to be associated with an organization that we have a contract with. Is
That's
that correct?
That's
So
what
I
I
don't
heard
I
too.
don't see any conflict of interest that would be fatal. We would need to be thoughtful about participation on agenda items and what that looks like for
Mhm.
someone that the city is contracting
Yeah.
with.
Okay.
It's not impossible, but there may be instances where recusal is required
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I also heard
or
a-
expected.
right. I heard suggestion that potentially an attorney should be in the room, and I'd like to get thoughts from the council on that.
I don't know if I said that.
No, I didn't say you said
Not
it.
here
Oh, okay.
today.
I didn't say you said it.
Okay.
I said it was said.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That, I mean, just to be able to say that that's not legally possible, great idea, but it just isn't, it's not something that is within it's not legally possible. I'm just saying that it's
Mhm.
a question for this deliberative body to decide. I also, so that's just that. I would like to hear my other council members on what they think about that. In one respect, that makes it a lot more sort of substantial and heavy. And the way that we initially envisioned this was more of an ombudsman where people could come in. I think it's expanded to be something a little bit more than that, and I think that that's a good idea. But I don't know that expanding it to where you would have a lawyer sitting in the room, makes good sense, or maybe it does. I just want to hear people's opinions on that.
For sure.
Yeah. So
If I can share
Yeah.
to that point,
Yeah,
for the
sure.
commissions that we don't, I will be frank, there is costs that are associated
yeah,
I was gonna
with
say
that.
money.
yeah. I mean, obviously,
Money is the number one.
Obviously.
But this commission would have a liaison, as the other commissions do,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and I work behind the scenes with all of the liaisons to help them, move items to the commission to respond to
Bless you.
public comment and questions of the
Yeah.
commissioners. So I'm this
Yeah. No.
Wizard of
yeah.
Oz person in the
Yeah.
background that's engaging with them so that, and if need be, I show up to commission meetings
Right.
where it's not required, because it
Right.
with the amount of meetings that we have now, it
Right.
would be an
I'm just trying to be
additional expense.
efficient here because I can see people coming in an ombudsman way with
Mhm.
these outlandish ideas that just are not possible. And, but like I said, this
Yeah.
is a different kind of commission. It is really very open and very
yeah.
expansive. But
We get it.
yeah, that will go as it is. And sort of to go back to this idea of the ombudsman and the ability to engage the communication skills. And I think to a point, Councilman Whitman brought this up, but the ability for the community to feel like they were heard and to have members who have communication skills to indicate to those who came in that they were truly heard, because I have been on the receiving end of this, where you come up and you get your 3 minutes and you have no idea if anyone understood what you said or if they cared, or, we try to make faces back so that people get an idea, but it doesn't always work in the best way. I also think that this, I would suggest, I think quarterly is not enough, but I would leave some of these decisions to be made by the commission, like how often, and I think make it mutable, because if it shows that a lot of people are showing up, then it means that there's a great need. If people aren't showing up, then maybe it needs more visibility. But at the minimum, I would say once every 2 months as opposed to once a quarter, but that's also up for discussion.
Ms. Marr, would you mind I'm not saying this just because you're speaking right now, but will you set the timer just for us? So
I think you are.
Oh, is the timer going on?
You know what? You read my mind. I just text Mr. Hahn because sometimes it's in the background and we can't see it.
All right. Thank you.
I think I'm down to about 45 seconds at best.
Okay.
I just want to say that. So those are my sort of things to consider. I will just I think the commission can also just to repeat, the commission can also figure out and can have some responsibility as to how this will play out. I like the expertise of the 3 experts in the room, mostly an ombudsman kind of approach, communication skills, and I think it's a great thing, and it may take a little bit of time for people to get up to speed, but I think that once they realize that there is an ombudsman in the city willing to listen to what they're saying and take it on is really great. I think having Public Works there is also really, really important. I would assume my time is over.
Thank you.
So I just want to comment on the attorney in the room attending meetings concept, and that is, we only have one commission or committee where we have an attorney present, and that's two.
Yeah, we will be joining HPC moving forward.
Really? Okay. That wasn't gonna come to us to discuss why we would do that.
We can certainly do that. I mean, we just have had a number of issues that have arisen that it's clear that there needs to be somebody with a legal background, but we can certainly bring it to you guys to decide. I don't think it's going to be a huge impact to your legal footprint. But we could certainly bring it if you guys wanted to decide that.
Not to interrupt, but they did used to have one back in the day.
Right.
We can bring something back. I don't want to get too far.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, but the way that I view the committee or board operating would not involve them resolving legal issues. I mean, potentially the subject matter experts and the board members could say there might be a legal issue there and funnel it through the city attorney's office. But I think I've envisioned this body in particular being like a clearinghouse for issues to decide which warrant coming up to us because there's good ideas or a level of concern, and which ideas can be that the community concern can be resolved at a lower level without. And I think I might have been the first. Well, with Ben's suggestion, I brought this idea up, and that was the way that I conceptualized it. Was to make it kind of a streamlined way for people to communicate. But I really want to make sure that the decision making rests, and even the community's understanding, it rests with the people that they elected to their city council.
I agree. I agree with all that.
I forgot to mention one thing, of course. I just wanted to say I think that there's a real benefit in having the 3 experts in the room, because they're also privy to the information that's coming from the citizens. And I think that's really important, that it doesn't need to bubble up to us and then bubble back to them. They're hearing it, eyes and ears on the street, and that gives them a level of communication, integration with the community in ways that they wouldn't otherwise have.
I think we're all agreeing with that.
It also, what I've seen in my past experiences, and all three of these people are very, very, very accountable. But you know, there you are, right? And you can get a direct answer from the chief of police on your public safety question.
I guess the thing I'm pondering now would be something like, if we found some middle ground and said, well, we've had the three experts in the room, and other people would come in as needed, of course, but I'm trying to understand, what would the expertise be that we would be desiring, possibly? That's an interesting question. It's not clear to me what that would be. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, the way we do it in planning, where you say we're looking for an architect or a planner or whatever, maybe it is just a community body without that expectation.
It's entirely up to you.
No, I
But
understand.
what I had suggested, if you were desiring to go that route, is just something
what would it be?
simple. You know, public safety experience, past or present, meaning, you know, either you're working in a role that's related to public safety, or you could even expand that. Public safety, public works, public transportation, those are all relevant to things discussed at this body, right?
So
Traffic.
like it's desired but not required.
You could say that too.
Mhm,
You could say
mhm.
that too, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think also we have, I mean, the five, each of us are going to be appointing one. I think that it should be left up to the council members
That's fine.
how they feel, whether it's an ombudsman, great communication skills, you know, or if they'd like to have, you know, somebody with distinct or they'd like to have somebody with both. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I would leave it up to the individual council members to see how this commission actually finds form. I
So are you looking for the direction today to say,
We are.
we want you to do it, and you would
Number
bring
one,
back something?
it sounds like you want us to do it. What we really going to need more is whether, I think, Ms. Anderson, like whether you want any qualifications or if you want to leave it, you know, just up to each council member to decide. That's kind of, I think, the main thing and also a cadence for meeting. How frequently you want this body to meet. It's clear, I think, that we all understand this is an advisory board. This is a Brown Act body, right? You know, it's going to be treated just like all of our other boards and commissions. We'd be amending the handbook so that they were folded into that. All that would be the same.
Let me ask you about the frequency. So you suggested quarterly. I could imagine, at least initially, it being very popular. So I'm just going to suggest possibly that it does meet monthly like the
Sure.
others, and then to be determined later to change the frequency.
You could also just leave it to the chair. You could say, you know, start monthly for this many meetings, and then the chair can make a decision.
Just an idea. Yeah, please go.
And the language is at least quarterly,
Yep, fair enough.
and I think maybe we could leave it,
Fine.
we could leave it to the commission to decide how frequent
Totally
with,
cool with me.
you know, with the advice from those subject matter experts who have to
I like it.
probably juggle schedules too.
I was gonna make a motion.
Do it.
All right, I move to direct staff to move forward with preparing for the commission with all of the specifications that we just mentioned. So beginning meeting monthly, and then at the discretion of the chair and the commission, determining the timing of meetings, and subject matter expertise is preferable but not necessary. And then everything else,
Do we need to include the appointment process in the motion?
Thank you for clarifying.
No
It
problem.
sounds like we may be departing from the nominating committee based off of the discussion today.
I don't think so.
Well, no, but the only departure is we don't have a chairperson, so we would say the mayor and each rotating council person.
Okay, so the process that we've outlined in the staff report for the
Are you
initial.
okay with that process?
I'm great with it.
I'll
Just
second.
a quick clarification.
Yeah.
So, who will make the fifth appointment? Would that be the first? So if the mayor, 1, 2,
Oh,
3,
It would rotate.
4.
whoever the.
Some
I
just-
think the mayor should have the unilateral nomination because we're each potentially getting our.
I can tell you
own.
that what I would really love to do is say we have these people that if we could pick two, we would pick that second person, and hopefully it's pretty clear who that should be.
So we would give the mayor the unilateral. I'm not objecting. I'm just
the
wondering.
The mayor can make, on his own accord, a recommendation to the city council for ratification.
Fine.
Sure. I just
Happily.
want
Because
clarification.
at that point, I believe you'll have interviewed everybody,
Probably.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
So I'm seconding. Great.
Thank you.
Ready?
I think, yeah, we got it.
Okay. Councilmember Rule.
Yes.
Councilmember Ming.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ling.
Yes.
Mayor Gilman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
So we only have 2 items left. We could keep going. Or do you want to take a break?
I need a 5-minute break.
5-minute break.
Oh, there he is.
Hello, hello. All
There
right.
we are.
Welcome back. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for the break. We're on item 5, Trolley Driver Pilot Benefit Program.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to ask Ms. Holman to deliver this presentation to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. We are here today to talk about a pilot benefit program for our trolley drivers. As you know, we have been working very hard in trying to recruit and attract and retain our trolley drivers. It's been a very tedious and difficult process. There is interest out there until the people hear that the positions were intentionally designed to be part-time positions working less than 19 hours a week. It's been a very hard challenge to overcome. And so to help combat that and help to see if we can improve our attractiveness to other people, we are proposing you consider adopting a pilot benefit program to provide benefits to our trolley drivers for those that do work more than 20 hours a week on a routine basis. The way the pilot program is structured is to have categories of staffing, including either a full-time driver, a three-quarter time driver, half-time driver, and then of course you do still have the ability to have the less than half-time drivers available as well. The benefits are mirrored after your current benefit package to full-time staff. And those benefits would be prorated based on their classification of three-quarter time or half-time. There is a caveat that some of those benefits, the way the current contracts are written, they cannot be provided to half-time people. They would have to have a minimum of 30 hours a week. So this is a pilot program for us to evaluate the effectiveness to see if we reach our goal of attracting and retaining qualified drivers. If we do and we see a positive aspect, we can at that point have discussions with you to see if you want to renegotiate some of the benefit contracts to be able to provide benefits to half-timers as well. And also to see if you are interested in rolling out to other regular half-time staff members. But our whole goal with the trolley is to try and beef up our driver reserve pool. So we have the staffing available to enhance our service. Back in the day, you guys had 2 trolleys running simultaneously. We would like to get back to that. We did have a little pilot program with that at Ojai Day. We did have 2 trolleys out there running. They were supposed to be like at every half-hour stop. I heard that was a very positive experience for the ridership. And our goal is to try and get there someday. So I did put a lot of information in the report. Do you guys have any questions? Or Mr. Harvey, is there something else you'd like to add?
No, thank you, Ms. Holman. We're here for your questions. Thank you.
Yeah, questions, please.
I just have a quick question. So can you break it down with our current drivers? How many are full-time, three-quarter, half, or temp?
You have no full-time drivers.
No.
You have no three-quarter time drivers. All drivers, we do have you have a classification called permanent part-time drivers, and that is somebody that could be working 20 to 30 hours a week, but they are not benefited positions.
Can I follow on question to that? And I think I asked you this before, but is it that we have people who want part-time and nothing else, or are there people that we would move into full-time, they're interested in full-time? Do we have that pool of people?
Assuming that you approve the pilot program, those positions that would be given a set schedule to either be half, three-quarter, or full-time, our existing driver pool would be offered first.
Okay. Understood.
And do you know if those that we have now would be interested in going full-time?
I have not approached that with them because I would not like to give someone a carrot and then take it away if it's not something that is like of the council's wish. But I have a feeling there's at least one that would be very interested. But your current pool of drivers, we have 5. Several of them are happy with the current setup, which is why they are still here. It's trying to get your new drivers in to build the pool so we have a plethora of drivers available to keep the trawlers running. We're having problems getting new people on board.
And then I heard you say in your report, right now we're gonna, assuming we approve it, we're gonna try this out, see what it yields for us in our pool, And if we decide we want to extend benefits to just part-time people, that's something we would consider going forward. And then I heard you say, and then we might consider benefits to part-time people, not drivers, who are in our staff. Did I hear you say that?
Yes.
Okay, which would be, sounds just, I guess. Yeah, that's a lot to consider. Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah. One of the issues that the community sometimes comments about is our retirement obligations, and I'm wondering how much this program might increase. Would it depend entirely upon how many people wanted to go to full-time, or?
So with your retirement, you already have exposure because once a PERS member, always a PERS member. So you already have drivers that are PERS members because they were PERS members in their previous employments. So that cost is always going to be a risk regardless of what model you choose. If you choose not to adopt this, that PERS liability is still there, depending on the person's background.
So are you saying that if we adopt this, we're not increasing our retirement obligations?
You would be increasing it for those individuals that were bringing new on board that are not already a PERS member.
Mm-hmm.
So those people would be in the PEPRA program.
Right.
So that does have a lower rate. It's under 8% for the city cost for that. It's 7 point something. I don't know the number off the top of my head. What?
I believe it's 6.82.
Yeah.
So when we see the fiscal impact, the estimated cost of the pilot program is $200,000. Is that including this potential increase? Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But again, this is, on the PERS side of it, Ms. Holman is absolutely correct. It does really vary on the individual. If
Mhm,
you've got
understood.
somebody who's a classic PERS member that wants to come on board, that's a higher liability
Mm-hmm.
than somebody who's never been in PERS who will be a PEPRA member. It's a significantly, so we don't know, and that's why we really
Right.
need a year to provide you with some
Yeah.
some solid data. But looking at the number of potential people, I don't think from our educated, guess that it's going to be substantive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any other questions before public comments? Yes.
Did I hear this correctly that as it stands now, unless we renegotiate our benefits packet, that half-timers, as I was looking at this, cannot get benefits and neither can three-quarter timers? Is that what, do I understand that?
So on attachment A,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of made a flow chart.
Yeah.
So like life insurance, your half-timer does not qualify.
Right.
To short and long-term disability, neither the three-quarter time or the half-time would qualify.
Right.
Half-time does not qualify for dental and vision under the current contract.
Okay.
Mhm. And I heard you say that's something that we can look at after this pilot program.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
However, medical does,
Right.
Mhm.
which
That's-
is, obviously
yes.
the,
Right.
the
Right.
primary.
Which is the big one.
Yep.
We're seeing that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you. I just needed some clarification.
That's good.
Thank you.
I'll move to public comments then. I have Bill Miley, Nick Otway, and then Jay Simmons.
Hello again.
Hey.
I have lobbied for consideration of full-time positions with benefits for our trolley system for some time, as you know. I am very pleased to see this proposed pilot program before this council this evening. Benefits for current drivers are very important. Adding full-time and three-quarter positions will make the recruitment goals much easier to meet. I strongly believe that operating this program with valley-wide recruitment for filling trolley driver positions is the best and valued approach. I believe the following statement I have crafted should represent what historically has been the direction for this trolley system since it was started in 1989. Sorry. We had horses the first time.
Yeah.
Maybe we should bring those back.
Yeah.
Ojai, quote, Ojai City is a very special place in a very special valley. Nothing exists like us elsewhere. In 1989, city leaders and other citizens started a public transit system to move folks, city and valley folks, and visitors around. It worked and showed how folks placed value on it. This does not intend to be a profit. It has value in offering folks a means of moving about the valley on a scheduled basis. The value of keeping the workforce local is the personalization of its operation. The riders are its customers. Drivers are its service providers. They personalize the trolley trip for the passengers. As I understand, local trolley drivers bring a certain positive attitude and demeanor of stewardship and joyful service to our local passengers and visitors alike. They offer a more intimate relationship with the passengers, and they show them the culture, uniqueness to our area. In summary, local city citizens and city government have supported this trolley system for years. We support it now and its future. A couple of comments about money. As I understand, the $200,000 is the planned budget for the next year, even without the pilot program. It's not new money. As I understand, the benefits add about 30% of the cost of each driver position. At $25 an hour, it ranges from 23 to 28.
Mm-hmm.
That's $50,000 a year for full-time. Benefits come up to about $15,000. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Miley. Nick Otway, please, and then Jay Simmons, and then Sherry and Kate, please. Hi.
Thanks.
Hi.
Ditto on Bill Miley. I think the pilot program is a must and should be just a little bit of a much larger beginning of attitude towards public transportation. And as far as being ambassadors, they're like really good bus drivers are an integral part of the city council's desire to spread the good word about a place. And what could be more easy to talk about than taking people around? I lived for years in San Francisco, which is a larger place, but I just loved being taking people from the East Coast who had never been there around. It's just, and taking people around Ojai is like magical, particularly in these beautiful days we're having. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Jay Simmons, please, and then Sherry and Kate.
Mayor, city council members, staff. My name is Jay Simons, actually, but
Thank you.
Close enough.
Thanks for the clarification.
I am an Ojai resident since 1980 and a 15-year trolley driver and backup trolley supervisor during that time. I support the Trolley Drivers Benefit Program as it will provide a significant tool for driver recruitment and retention. I also echo Bill Miley's comments because as a trolley driver, my favorite thing is being with the people and communicating the fun and love of Ojai. I mean, it's hard to describe the effect of the trolley. You see a little kid on the side, he goes, the trolley. It's a great thing. However, the problems with the trolley continue, and this program is just one small step in their solutions. 16 months ago, on June 25th at the council meeting, I stood at this podium and said that the trolley was on life support and desperately needed attention and a plan. Since then, we have seen service interruptions, service reductions, staff turnover, and continued loss of driver morale. At that same meeting, the city manager said that a transportation plan was assigned to the then assistant city manager, and he would be presenting it to the council in the near future. To my knowledge, there is no plan, and that it was ever prepared or presented. In place of a comprehensive city transit plan, we have Band-Aids. Some new old trolleys, temporary drivers with little training, a part-time supervisor, and lackluster driver recruitment. City Council should direct the staff to prepare a comprehensive city transit plan that rests on the fundamental premise that the Ojai trolley is an essential city resource and will not be contracted out. It's time to provide the trolley with the planning and resources it deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sherry Ann Kate, please.
I want to start by saying I support the proposed trolley driver benefit program. People in Ojai love the trolley. They get to work, they get to go to school, they go to their doctor appointments. Some people use it to go grocery shopping, and honestly, tourists jump on the trolley now and then and just drive the full loop all the way around just to scope out Ojai. So over the last few years, as Jay Simons was saying, it's been apparent that there's been an intention to contract out a lot of our beloved trolley service to outside entities. And I'm guessing this was an effort to save time for the staff and money. But I think this is a case of unintended consequences. The city no longer has a mechanic or a full-time trolley supervisor on staff, and all the trolley drivers, as she mentioned, are part-time with no benefits. What inevitably has happened is a reduction in service. There's only one trolley going around the route now instead of two like there used to be. And there are not enough new, good functioning, energy efficient trolleys, especially when one of them needs repairs. We're down to very few trolleys. Contracting out these and other city services has resulted in a pervasive loss of what is called institutional memory. It has impacted the very viability of our beloved trolley. Please rescue our precious trolley from this downward spiral into extinction. The trolley should be run by the city of Ojai, not an assortment of distant contractors that contribute no institutional knowledge to our city government. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mara, is anybody online?
No, Mayor, there is not.
Thank you. All right. Well, I want to do it.
I also need to probably
Please go ahead.
respond to some comments made just so the council has
Yep.
some information that's accurate. All of our drivers, including our contract drivers, are adequately trained, licensed, and with proper endorsements. We have a 3/4 time supervisor, which has been the case since before I got here. We have a new maintenance contract that's been in place for a few months with Ventura County, making sure that our trolleys are regularly serviced by master mechanics. On top of that, we have 2 mobile mechanics. On top of that, we have a contract with Adamson. So we have a 3 or 4-prong approach to get the adequate maintenance these trolleys need. There haven't been 2 trolleys running since pre-pandemic. Okay, that's not a recent change. And we only use contract drivers when we cannot find a city driver to fill a shift. And this was explained prior. So we're not replacing city drivers. We're actually just only supplementing when we need to. And those contract drivers, again, have, this is required by DOT regs. They have to have the same licenses and endorsements that our city trolley drivers do. And before they're able to do a route, they have to shadow a city driver so that they understand our protocols and our stops. So I just wanted to clarify that. Did I leave anything out? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
And I have a question too. We have a 3rd trolley that's scheduled for delivery in 2027. Is that correct?
That's our electric
trolley?
Yes.
Okay.
It was delayed a year.
Yes. What would be the possibility of having maybe this is outside of the scope of but first of all, I do support this. I like this. I also would be in support of looking at other ways that we could expand the trolley services, like do a hop on, hop off once we have that third trolley. And I think this is a good way to have the kind of employee retention that we want, to have drivers like what we heard here tonight, who love Ojai and who want to connect with the community and want to be a part of the community. I think this really would, moving forward with this, would speak to our desire to increase and expand the trolley services. So I'm definitely in support of this, and I'd be I'll put a motion on the table.
Yeah.
And let my colleagues speak about this, but I'd like to make a motion to move forward with the pilot program.
I'll second that. And just to say, I presume you're having these conversations with other people, but our conversations are very typically, how do we increase the trolley service? And so I think everybody is sharing that priority in this room.
In short order, we'd like to, we were successful in our 2 trolley run on Ojai Day, and so we're going to be bringing back a plan for you to look at to make that more of a regular feature. We're trying to base it upon busiest times so that that's running to maximize it and then expand it from there. That's our desire. That'll come back before you.
Thanks. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I just will very briefly say that I also, I think obviously we need to do this, the benefits program. I think that when you have employees, you need to offer them benefits, and you can discuss the price of that. But I also believe that it's very short term to not give your employees a livable wage and make it possible for them. That is the responsibility of this city. It's the responsibility of every employer. And it's why we kind of are in this situation of economic great disparity, is because this, an employer would like to cut as much as they possibly can. That makes sense in one way, but I'm not going to give you that kind of lesson. But I don't support this city being that way, and I see this as a step in the other direction, and I much appreciate that. That having been said, I do think that there is a larger problem with the policy around transportation, and specifically the trolley. I mean, there seems to be, and I don't know if it's a perception, but we hear over and over that, we're piecemealing things and not looking at the big picture. So, and I'm not sure what that big picture is, but hearing it from very experienced drivers and people who have lived here their whole lives, I feel like we need to either communicate that. I don't actually understand that. Maybe it's part of the transportation policy that we need to discuss. But I feel like it kind of is missing. But I do agree this is a really good first step. But what I'm hearing and have always heard is that there's a great love for the trolley, and we need to make sure that we keep that trolley and that love part of Ojai. So that's kind of my comments on this. And I think true to it, and this is a larger discussion, but I think it is true, and this is going to come up, that we contract out so much that we're not building any institutional knowledge. And I think that it is a sign of it's easier to do. In some ways, it's cheaper to do because we have the budget to do it, and it makes the management of the city so much easier. You can just tell somebody what you want them to do, and they do it. So I think we also need to look at that, but we've discussed that, and that is an agenda item, and so I'm going to leave that for kind of where it is. I take this as sort of a litmus test, or the canary in the mine, which I hate that because I don't want the canary to die. But this is sort of an indication of the health of, in my mind, city management. So I see steps moving forward, and I appreciate that. I also see steps that need to be made, and I'm willing to work to that as well.
Thank you. Anything else?
I was just curious, I'm in support of this. I think it's wonderful to offer benefits. And I'm just curious, like when you're recruiting for trolley drivers, what about the mechanic? I don't know how long the mechanic's been gone and why.
So the city council eliminated that position from our salary schedule. We could bring it back on board, but what our experience was when we had an in-house mechanic when I started here is they were unable to keep up with the amount of work that we had, and we were able to get more efficient results by having this three-prong approach where we're Ventura County for the master mechanics, mobile mechanics coming here to do oil changes, fluid changes, stuff like that. Going to Adamson's for things like tire rotations. That seems to be more, we're able to get vehicles back on the road more quickly rather than having a backlog of the mechanic had 3 or 4 vehicles that they were trying to get to. They were only able to work on one at a time, and it just wasn't very efficient. If you take you could take multiple vehicles down to Ventura County. You can have the mobile mechanic come out multiple times. It just seems to be a more expeditious way to get things moving.
So then the mechanic was let go.
Well,
so you could do all of this, or how
we
did
ended
the
up eliminating
departure-
the position from the budget as part of the budget process. We have a title in the salary schedule, but it's not something that we have filled in the budget. And again, it was just we found it was just we had more vehicles on the road doing this way, and that's what we're trying to do. And we did purchase 2 used trolleys. We are trying to bring them into this daisy chain program that we're talking about, looking at the peak hours, and we hope to do that very, very soon.
And when will that happen? Because those came in quite a while ago, correct?
There's been a lot of work that we had to do on them.
Right? A lot of work, a lot of money.
Yes.
There was more work than we expected to be needed.
Yes.
So when do you see them working?
One's out already, isn't it? One's out.
We want to come to you and talk to you about a plan. We do have some challenges just in being transparent. The lifts on these trolleys are different than the lifts on the other trolleys that we have, and so there are challenges sometimes with stops if there is somebody that needs to be picked up. And so if you have 2 trolleys in motion, then you could have the redundancy that you needed, and that's what we want to. We don't want to have somebody that we have to have wait for a prolonged period of time for a pickup, and that's what we're trying to avoid. So that's why we're going to come back. Our transit supervisor is already working this so that how it's going to work and what it would involve. But it's essentially kind of something the mayor talked about a while ago, which is what we were doing on Ojai Day, and said same one route, which is more trolleys running, so that you're waiting half an hour instead of an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So with the additional trolley, are you saying like a month, 2 months?
Focus back on the benefits part.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
yes.
And then if we need to
Coming
bring,
your way.
Okay.
yeah, if we
Coming
need to
your
bring another agenda
Okay.
item back, we can do that.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson.
And we will. We are planning on doing that.
So, the city council has spent time this year talking about compensation as a general issue. And as I recall, our discussion was really heavily focused on the trolley drivers.
Yes. That was the priority of the council.
We're all supportive of that idea that if we want to have a solid core of drivers, we need to improve our compensation package, and I appreciate that we've brought this forward. I'm also supportive of the idea that there's more that we can do to improve trolley service, and we'll address those as they come. I'm very happy to hear feedback from our community and our drivers about how we can improve the program, and I definitely support what we have in front of us tonight.
Thank you.
Mayor, can we take a vote?
Can I ask
Yeah,
just
sure.
one question?
Mm-hmm.
And this will probably come up in future agenda items, and you can say out of scope. What about making the trolley free? Just
Okay,
wanted,
this is a
just
great-
wanted,
No,
just
That's
wanted,
it.
Yep. Okay. Bingo.
Future
Bye
agenda
bye.
item.
Bye bye.
Too far.
Bye bye. Too far. Too far. Okay.
All right,
Bye bye.
We'll leave it.
Focus on compensation
Yep.
in
Indeed.
this moment, please.
Okay. Can I say one other thing? That even I think that we are talking, I'm just going to say this. There's no more local guy than Steve at Adamson's to move your tires around. Just want to say.
Thank you. Okay, let's call the vote.
Mayor Gilman,
Yes?
Councilmember Rule,
Yes.
Councilmember Mang,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Thanks all. Thank you. So we are on our last item of the memorandum of agreement for the Space Launch Delta 30 for the monitoring of sonic booms.
Thank you, Mayor. And as you can see, Ms. Palmer has joined
Yes,
us up here at the
wonderful.
dais. Thank you, Ms. Palmer. I'm sorry? Well, would you,
Okay.
okay. She can do it, okay.
Hey.
Microphone.
Good evening, all. Let me flip to my tab. So the item before you tonight is to authorize the city manager to enter into an MOA with Space Launch Delta 30, and they are the outfit at Vandenberg in charge of
We can't hear you guys, if you please. Thank you.
who are responsible for all space launches on the West Coast. So as you will remember, City Council prepared a letter back in June asking for some action and in response to the environmental impact study. So some folks.
You know. Guys, try to keep your voice down so we can keep going. Thank you all. Okay.
So I have been, so somebody at Vandenberg, the major in charge of this operation at Vandenberg, has reached out to me and asked if we would like to enter into an MOA for them to install some monitoring stations for these sonic booms. So Ben and I met with her, and here we are. So the MOA is attached. We've got, we do have a slide. I don't necessarily need to show, well, but here it is.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
I just wanted to,
Yeah.
here it is, the Wizard of Oz behind the scenes. So I just wanted to just show you what they look like. So it's a two-part system. One is the Pelican box there, and in that Pelican case, and in that is the battery, computer, GPS, all kinds of stuff, cell modem, solar controller, GPS clock. So a lot of stuff is packed in on the box that's to the top of the slide. The lower picture, the little dome, is the microphone. So that is what is picking up all the sounds and monitoring. So this is great for the community. I know that this is a topic in the city. People are very emotional about this, let's just say, as are some of the animals around town. So we ask what is happening with this data once it's collected. So it is shared with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, which is great, NOAA, National Marine Fishery, FAA, and California Coastal Commission. So unfortunately, I have had a bit of a communication challenge over the last 3 weeks because these are federal employees and they have been furloughed. So they're back in the office. However, my main contact, the major who's in charge of this program, has had a medical emergency, is now on medical leave as of last night. So I will answer whatever questions that I can. I am prepared to come back and give you another report or receive and file if there's some questions that I'm not able to answer.
So we did get some public comments, and it's from somebody that I know and I respect. And so the items were, could we have a quarterly delivery of data summaries and analysis? You know, that would go. Could we also get the data? In other words, it's that simple, and that city access some of the underlying databases that are averaged. So it's basically that we get the information as well.
Correct, and those
Okay.
are my questions as well.
Okay, great.
Yes.
That
so,
sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
And I was just going to share with my colleagues that Emily Ayala Thatcher, she also sent me pictures saying they have some of these on their land already. And she 100% please vote for it. The more the better. The more monitoring we can do, the better to understand the consequences of these booms. And when Vandenberg was here visiting, they are looking for that data as well so that they can understand how to mitigate.
So we have a couple of sites that
Mhm.
we have cited already, and we will determine the exact location, whether it's at one or the other or both at this
Okay.
point.
Great.
So
Yeah.
how many locations are we talking about?
So two. So one is at Sarasota, and one is at Lib.
Okay.
So those are the two that we have sort of cited already.
Yeah, a constituent contacted me who seemed to know what they were talking about and was concerned that we have enough monitors, not, you know, fully in favor of the idea of having this monitoring, but making sure that it's enough to have meaningful data. So what's our relationship with the, so
Space launch.
SLD 30 is,
Space Launch Delta 30.
yeah, and they're federal government.
Federal government.
And so that's just like a program name. I guess I
It
was
is.
envisioning with the, you know, the report related to the two universities that were involved.
They're working with the universities to produce, so here's the microphone. So they're working with Brigham Young and what's the other?
Cal State Bakersfield.
Cal State Bakersfield, yes. So they're working with them on the development of the system itself. But this
Yeah.
is a federal program, and Space Launch Delta is the
Right, and it sounds, so we have two sites in the city of Ojai.
yes.
It sounds like we have at least one more, or with multiple monitors.
The Sean McDermott, who sent the email, suggested that there were a few around even in the valley. So they're just not,
Yeah.
they're not coordinated through the city, but you know,
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
mean-
because my, the person who knows more about this stuff than I do said that, you know, it's kind of like the ability to triangulate from different locations and, you know, understand maybe where some places are getting a more percussive effect because
Yeah.
of echo and that type of thing. So,
That's true.
would it be the case that we can talk to those universities about potentially learning more about the program and how it can be more effective? Or?
We can also talk to the federal employees and see if they are amenable to installing more than two at this point.
Or ask them what's the right
the
amount of measuring
recommendation.
in a geography. What makes sense? What's your guys' experience?
The other thing that we were discussing when we met with them is that these are locations that are under city control. And so we do not have appropriate city facilities where we could tell them, yeah, your equipment's going to be safe and sound all over the city, right? We do have city property interspersed, but the two locations that Ms. Palmer mentioned, we can tell them, yeah, we can put this in a location where it will be able to operate without interference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
that
that
makes
we have
sense.
control over, and we can allow them in rather than somebody's backyard, because I volunteered my backyard too.
No, that's good. Well, I mean, I do want to do it, and I think it's great, and I'd love to get the more information if sharing the data is something we could also get at.
And
Sounds
we can
good.
probably request to include that in the MOA as well,
Thank you.
you know,
That would be
just
wonderful.
part of it.
Yes. Any other? Well, I don't have any public comments. Is anybody online, Ms. Mara, by chance?
No, there's not, Mayor.
Okay. Yes. Ms. Roll, please.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I fully support it too. And the more information that we can get, the more
Mhm.
places that we can put things protected. We do have other, you know, public spaces that we could, but getting a real sense of, you know, what the goal is and how we might reach that goal is really important. And likewise, I just would like to do a shout out to Sean McDermott, who sent us that public comment, who moved to Santa Barbara a while ago and still apparently checks in Ojai. And it's, thank you very much. Much appreciated that
Yeah.
he took the time and effort.
Yes.
And am I correct in understanding that this initiative came about from our letter, that our letter instigated this process?
I'm not 100% sure, but I suspect it probably did. I
Okay.
haven't asked her the question, but she did reach out to us.
Okay.
So, And I believe that we may be the first city in the county that has a monitoring station in their city limits. I know that they're working with the city of Ventura now too.
Great.
But,
Good. Then I want to give a shout out to us too.
You just keep on being special.
Yeah,
Ohio is special.
Great.
Among the things, we might inquire of Vandenberg is if there's a need for more locations and, to what degree do they need us to facilitate that? Because I think we potentially could find additional locations, not necessarily under city control, but under some type of responsible control.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, please go.
I'll put a motion on the table.
Yep.
To move forward with the MOA.
A second. I think we're ready.
So just a quick question.
Yep, sure.
We're not moving forward this way. We're moving forward with an expanded
There's a
MOA.
couple of additions.
So I have, as part of the motion, that you've asked us to negotiate additional site locations if feasible with them, and then access to any of the data that results from the study.
That's it. We
Okay.
should have specified that, but
Yes,
yes.
thank you.
Just one quick question, number 5 with personnel, each party responsible for all costs of its personnel, including pay and all of that, is that, and I noticed that it's the two of you, so that just comes out of, we wouldn't be paying additional for all that, it's part of your job description duties.
This is part of
You're
what
just
we
squeezing
do.
it in.
This is what we do.
All right, perfect.
Thanks,
All
y'all.
right, thank you.
We're not gonna send a bill to
Right.
to the federal government.
Ready?
Yep, I think we're ready.
Mayor Pro Tem Lang.
Yes.
Councilmember Roll.
Yes.
Councilmember Meng.
Yes.
Mayor Gilman.
Yes.
And Councilmember Whitman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And it's our special meeting tonight, so we won't have committee reports or future agenda items unless
Can
we
I-
feel a
can I-
desperate need.
Can I,
Yeah.
There's a desperate need. I just have to make one announcement from Caltrans.
Oh, sure.
That the 101 will be closed.
Oh, good.
Weekend nights. I think
Super.
I think it's Friday and Saturday night. There's a part between it's the Telegraph Road and I can't remember where the street is, but check Caltrans for street closures. The freeway will be closed.
Okay. Friday and Saturday night.
Yep.
Thank you. That's
Just
useful.
a quick follow-on, is I-5 still closed?
Mm.
Just curious.
I'm not sure.
Just want to bring up that there's shells being launched over I-5 and Gavin Newsom closed it because shrapnel was falling on people on I-5. Just pointing it out.
No, thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.